Hello and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network.
We are here. Go ahead.
Almost said Workham.
Welcome. We are here for episode 13, I think, of the Winner's Circle. Anika should be joining us any minute. In the meantime, I want to get on my soapbox for a minute about. I want to apologize to anybody that stayed up last night with us to watch that debacle of a main event boxing match between Iron Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. That thing was at best terrible. I mean, no offense to either guy. Well, offense to Jake Paul, I don't like him. No offense to Mike Tyson. That's what you get when you're 58 and can't really move much. But that was it's very disappointing. Let me just say, if anybody wants to watch it, watch the women's fight right before it. That's the only thing that was really worth watching. The women killed it. That was a hell of a fight. Definitely don't. If you didn't watch the Tyson Paul fight, I wouldn't go back and watch it. It wasn't worth watching if you missed it. So, Sammy, that being said, you took the good route and went to bed, or at least logged off and stopped watching. So, in hindsight, we should have logged off and stopped watching. So,
I was able to stay awake in bed long enough to see the conclusion. I was like, all right, well, turn the phone off.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. No offense. I mean, I enjoy hanging out with Anika, and it's fun to be here with all the people watching and stuff. But yeah, I mean, in hindsight, we could have left after the women's fight and actually had a good night. So it was very disappointing. But it is what it is. I guess. What are you gonna do?
Right.
All right. So we're here as always on Saturday morning for the Winner's Circle, bright and early, 7 a.m. on my side, the best side, the West Coast, 10 a.m. on y'all's side.
9 for me.
9, that's right. He's in the middle. He's in that middle swath of the country.
Hey. It's West Side because I'm west of the Mississippi.
And then Nika's over there, and we don't even call it what it is.
Dirty South. What you know about that? Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right. So as usual, we're going to review Monday Night Raw, NXT, and Dynamite from this last week. And Sammy Joe will lead the conversation, starting off with Monday Night Raw.
Talking about Raw, I wish I had poured me a beer instead of water. Jeez.
Why you say that?
Raw was terrible this week.
Ooh, spicy take started off with a spicy take already.
We started out with Gunther coming out. He cuts a promo. And then we get Damian Priest come out. He cuts a promo. Then Ludwig Kaiser comes out. He cuts a promo. Gunther interrupts the promo. Like, the only person who looked good in all this was Damian Priest.
Yeah, I mean, Gunther's not a bad talker. There's nothing wrong with Gunther's ability to speak on the mic. He's a little too wordy sometimes, and there's not enough intensity or excitement around what he's saying a lot of the time. I mean, it's to be honest with you, I mean, it's a little boring sometimes when he's talking, just in the ring talking. Which is because I really like the guy. I like him a lot. He's maybe my favorite. Well, he's definitely one of my favorite WWE wrestlers at the moment. So, I thought Damian Priest came off probably better in this. I mean, he's a little bit more lively, a little bit more, intense, has a little bit more whatever. He's talking on the mic. Kaiser, I thought, honestly came out with the best personality in this whole thing, but he got laid out by Damian Priest.
It reminded me of 8 Mile. It's like, you said this. What else you got? Nothing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not, I don't need to necessarily see Gunther and Priest again, but we're going to. So it is what it is. You guys think he's actually going to beat Gunther this time?
No. But the two sloppy people, all y'all go to the right. Y'all annoy me. Oh my God.
I think so.
You think he's going to win this time?
I think, well, unless somebody gets involved, I think he will.
Interesting.
Finn Balor. But no, this was actually pretty decent for the two crackheads up there. As someone who yes, we've seen this match before. It needs some more spice to it. I love Damien's promo here because it's like, oh, so I can beat you now because your little, what you call it, their little glitter of undefeated or I'm unbeatable has withered, and you can tell by how you look right now, especially after Cody Rhodes beat you. Like, oh. So I do love that. I love that aspect of the promo. I just, can we stop? I'm like, y'all, they keep threatening to break up Imperium or this Ludwig and Gunther, and it's like, no, why? What's the point of breaking them up? Honestly, because like, no offense, you break them up, you do not have that much faith in Ludwig Kaiser right now. So why we keep threatening this? Why we keep threatening this?
Well, yeah, I mean, you took Vinci away and he's done nothing. I mean, you tried to repackage him. He was around for like 2 weeks, and then obviously you felt that didn't work, and he went away again. So I mean, I mean, if Kaiser's not with, I barely have any use for Kaiser with um with Gunther, let alone without Gunther. So um,
Yeah,
let alone yeah, without Gunther. So yeah, I mean, I don't, yeah, but at the same time, and I do think that Gunther, he's the kind of guy that even though he's fine at everything that he does and doesn't need anybody. When I say need, I like him better when he's got a little bit of a crew with them. And Kaiser's not enough. I mean, one guy
it's
just
a
isn't
full
enough.
package deal. Yes,
I mean, I don't know if we need Vinci back. I don't know if we needed somebody else or whatever, or even someone instead of Kaiser or two new people or whatever. But I like him better when he's got some people with him.
yes.
So, yeah. I mean, all right, what was next, sir?
Up next, we had Damage Control versus Pure Fusion Collective in what was a very sloppy bingo hall style match.
There's a lot.
Which,
Okay.
I mean, the only person who I didn't feel negatively about in this match was Io. Like, even Kyrie was sloppy.
Now, see that point. I actually think Shannon Banks are shining in this match. He actually got some offense, and it actually gave the women time here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. This is tough. I mean, your women's division isn't strong on Raw at all, so I mean, it's tough. I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think Sonya Deville is, probably mid-pack, mid-card, and Zoe Stark for me right now hasn't proven that she's any higher. So Shayna Baszler's the only one in the PFC Pure Fusion collective that I think has any real star power. So I mean, and then you've got them in with one of the your premier factions and three women, or women that have a lot of star power, and but Kyrie was off too. But I think that's, I don't know. I mean, I feel like sometimes unfortunately, sometimes you play down to the level of the people you're wrestling, and I mean, I don't know. It was a tough night for this match. I thought. I mean, this is a tough match.
If this was Io versus Shayna, it would have been a banger.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt about that. I think
That's it.
they need to do something with the Pure Fusion collective. For me personally, it's not moving the needle, and I don't know that it ever will with these three. I mean, there's just something about them that just doesn't. I don't know. I think they need to start over.
But here's the thing about it, though. It's like you want people to get over. These are the matches you have to get through to get them over. You're going to have to give them time.
Yeah.
So it's like you have.
It's just like the timing and everything was off. It felt like there wasn't cohesion. Like, I don't know if they had like pre-planned this or not. Like, do they just tell them to go out there and go? Like they
Well,
had the script of what to do, but they never like practiced what they were going to do before actually doing it because like the timing was just so off on so many things.
like that's it. That's not like they're not special. Sometimes it just happens, and hopefully they'll get better, and hopefully they'll get another chance to get it better.
Yeah, I mean Sonya Deville. I mean, I don't. How much more time does she need? Zoe Stark, it's fair. She hasn't. I mean, at least in the WWE timeline, she hasn't been around that long. Sonya's been here for a minute. You don't have much use for not being significantly better than you are, unless that's your limit. I mean, if that's your ceiling, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. But
I
I
feel
don't.
like
I don't. have a lot of
I
patience for her growth at this point. Zoe Stark, I mean, I have a little bit more, but
I feel like Sonya might have been the most egregious.
what do you guys think about Dakota Kai being back?
It
I
was cute.
I'm willing to let her slide a bit because she just got back.
Does anybody have the feeling that we would rather have? I know that they're different and that it wouldn't necessarily work the same way, but rather have Tegan Knox than Dakota Kai?
Not really. Like for this group,
Personality wise, Dakota Kai.
yeah, personality wise, Dakota Kai. And I was gonna say for this group, you need more personality. And so Tegan Knox, yeah, she's great in the ring. They're very clear about that. But yeah, as this group, she didn't have enough charisma.
And do
Which
you
I think
guys
would work well in AEW because AEW has a much more in ring focus, and she's great in ring.
what do you guys think of T or Dakota Kai versus Bailey as the third person in Damage Control? Now that we've seen them both for a while, I know
Oh
Dakota Kai's been gone for a while, but they've
yeah,
both been in that position a fair amount of time to make that
First
transition.
Bailey.
and that's a hard comparison because Bailey. She's the fourth horsewoman for a reason. It's not like she's like
Right.
it wasn't like hey, you need to add another person just because. No, Bailey has something special about her. So it's like a little bit of an unfair comparison. And with Dakota Kai, unfortunately, it's a stop and go with the injury, so we don't really know how big she could be if she could just stay there and just go.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough to compare Bailey and Dakota Kai. I mean, Bailey, for all intents and purposes, I think she's a first ballot Hall of Famer at this point. I mean, she is. I mean, when we did our Mount Rushmore of WWE women's wrestlers, I gave it to the Four Horsewomen, and she was one of them. So, I mean,
Yeah.
she's definitely a level above Dakota Kai. That being said, I don't mind Dakota Kai either. I don't like Bailey as a heel, and
Yeah.
I like whatchamacallit as a heel faction. Why am I drawing a blank on their name at the moment?
Damage
Damage
control.
Control as a heel faction. So Dakota Kai fits that bill better for me. I think she's a better heel in my opinion than Bailey is. So
Hmm.
I prefer to see Bailey as a face. So all right, what was next, Sammy?
Well, I actually wanted to
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
say like this faction's like not a group of young people either, so injuries are gonna be happening.
No doubt.
Like, the youngest is Io, I think, and she's 34.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
How is Kyrie? Because Kyrie was actually younger than EO.
Kyrie's 36.
Oh wow.
She looks
Oscar's
younger than Io.
42, I think. Oscar's 42.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And
Well,
Dakota Kai, I think, is also 36.
interesting. Very interesting.
All right.
I,
So, like, I mean, aside from Dakota Kai, any of the other three women could legitimately be a challenger for the world title. And, like, yeah, makes sense. I mean, granted, Kyrie hasn't been booked that way, but, like, I've seen her talent. I know she's capable to be in that position.
yeah,
I
it's
would love
interesting
one
to me.
good time. Real
It's
quick, I would love one good time. Like for a Monday Night Raw, just let her go one on one with with Liv. Like, oh yeah, Kyrie.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to me to see that. I mean, and I don't know that it's fair to bunch them necessarily together, but Asuka, Io, and Kyrie saying if you talk about the three of them together, it's interesting to see that Kyrie's kind of been on the lower end of all of it to a certain extent. I think she's had a few more injuries, but the fact that Asuka and Io have been pushed significantly more in their WWE time than I feel like Kyrie has is interesting. It always makes me wonder why certain people get pushed and some don't. I mean, obviously Asuka, in my opinion, is an undeniable talent. She's going to get over no matter what. But for me, I don't see much difference really between Io and Kyrie to see why. I feel like Io's had a much better WWE career than Kyrie has.
It's more so time wise. Io's been here. I'm gonna say longer, but when Kyrie left back to Japan, I think that kind of I'm gonna say damaged it, but kind of stopped her progression to the world heavyweight women's champion.
Right.
I mean, even then, I don't feel like that was going to be a thing.
Yeah, maybe that's true. I don't know. Maybe that's why she went back to Japan. I mean, maybe she realized she
Oh,
wasn't going to get that kind of.
She
well,
wanted to
more
be the world champion at least one more time, and in Japan, she was afforded the ability to do it.
well, more so, it was the pandemic. She wanted to be with her family.
No, yeah.
Because remember, it was her and Oscar, and oh my gosh,
Oh yeah, and she had just gotten married too.
yeah, and oh my gosh, it was that. That was, again, best storyline of the summer. Uh, Boston Globe Connection versus the Kabuki Warriors. I'm like, yes, it was so good.
All right. What's next, Samuel?
Um, Up next, we had Kofi Kingston versus Pete Dunne.
Well,
Oh, so
you glossed
yeah,
over the beginning part of this, the whole like intro up to this match,
Oh,
where we
we
had
had R-Truth backstage, and like Pete Dunne came in, and he was like, "I got a problem with you," and then Kofi interrupted, and he was like, "You want a problem too?" It's like, maybe I do. And
it,
then R-Truth afterwards was like, "You ain't got to worry about Pete Dunne. You got to worry about Butch." And then R-Truth ran away.
and Xavier Woods was not happy about Kofi sticking his nose in.
Mm.
I think that I'm not nothing against. I think the point of this whole thing is the feud between Kofi and Xavier. It's the falling
yeah.
out of New Day, and that's the big emphasis here. Is that Xavier wasn't happy about Kofi putting his nose in R-Truth's business with Pete Dunne,
Well,
and Kofi wants to play. Kofi's like, "This is my boy. I'm going to help him. I mean, if there's an issue, I'm going to have his back." And Xavier's like, "Why? It's not doing anything for us. It has nothing to do with us," which is a total heel attitude, whereas
yes,
Kofi has the face attitude here. And so then obviously it goes into the match, and this further
Yeah.
goes on into the match, of
It goes
which
on into the match because Woods wipes out Dunn at ringside, and instead of Kofi capitalizing on it, he gets in Woods' face about his interference.
because
and
that's all we do.
it ultimately costs Kofi the match, and Pete Dunne gets the win. So,
Yeah.
and
Woods
then
did
he's
that for
not
Kofi to
happy.
capitalize and win.
Yeah, and then the two of them are Woods and Kofi are arguing afterwards and all the way up the ramp, and this is clearly the disintegration of these two as a New Day. I mean, that's the story here.
I
Which
mean, it's that or Kofi turns heel.
No, not no, Cole, no, you can't. Even though Xavier Woods did a great job in turning New Day heel, all in all, you can't. It's hard to boo Kofi. It's very hard to boo Kofi.
Well, listen, you don't have to be heels that get booed. You can be heels that get cheered. Like, say they beat somebody up backstage, and then they just start slapping pancakes on their body that's on the ground, pouring maple syrup over them.
has
Like,
Kofi Kingston ever been a heel? Has he had a heel run ever?
By
He was,
himself, no.
yeah, he was fake Jamaican at first. Yeah, no, by himself. He was fake Jamaican at first, and ever since then, I don't. I mean, yeah, other than the little bit the New Day was heelish, I guess, for a little while. I mean, other than that, I mean, he's never been a heel. Woods has been a heel before, if I'm not mistaken. I remember Xavier Woods being a heel before, and I like
heck, wasn't
Xavier
he a
Woods.
heel in TNA?
Ooh, that's a good
He
question.
was in
As Austin
TNA.
Creed? Yeah, as Austin Creed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was a heel. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a heel in TNA. So yeah, I mean, Woods feels more like the natural heel, and I don't see Kofi joining him. So I think this is a breakup. I don't know why they're doing it, but it's a breakup of these two. Maybe they'll come back together at some point, but it's I think there's a breakup. And I, I mean, I'm kind of interested in it. I mean, at this point, I kind of want to see Kofi, you know, stand up to Xavier in a way. Not that he hasn't, but just like I don't know, whatever.
Well,
But
yeah, well, that's more so because of this. That's more so why this match happened because Xavier was like, "We don't want a problem." It's like, you know what? I'm not tired of you speaking for me. I'm not tired of you speaking for me. I actually want to fight. Let's go. And again, as a friend, okay, you supported me in this match, which was cool. But like, I need y'all to get on the same. If we're still going to be friends, we need to be on the same page. And I think as a friend, if you know I don't like to cheat because not even as in the face, I just think I'm good enough to beat this dude. Then just don't do it. Like just let me lose. I'm fine with losing.
and so I got a question. So we were Pete Dunne heavy for a minute. He was in that feud with Trick, and he was in a couple other things, and now it feels
Yeah,
like he was the fourth wheel in this story tonight. Like, does it feel like they're cooling him down again? I mean, it's kind of
I mean, they're building up a feud between him and R-Truth, and like,
right, which is, I mean, it's R-Truth. No
Well,
disrespect to Rob Killings and R-Truth, but like, where does that feud rate on the level of like mid card main event? I mean, they're not going to be main eventing a pay per view or
at most they're going to open a Raw.
right. So I mean, as far as Pete Dunne goes, I think Pete Dunne should be main eventing pay per views. So
yeah.
for him to have a feud with R-Truth, like, nothing wrong with R-Truth. It's the way they book him and the way they use him that it feels like everyone that comes to him is there for the 24/7 championship. I know that's not a thing anymore, but that's what it feels like still. It still feels like
I don't feel like this is a closer to a Raw. This is an opener to a Raw. Like, it's not even the main event of a Raw.
right.
Well, more so like I don't think they don't think highly of Pete Dunne. It's more so giving him something to do. Like I would love if he's on SmackDown because boom, like that mid card is getting so much better with LA Knight being the United States champion. So I would love just like just put him on SmackDown. Like, him versus LA Knight, bet him versus Andrade, bet him versus like it's so many good mid cards over there that we need to build it up over here, and hopefully they'll do that. They'll put more attention to that because for me, you put the belt back on Braun Breaker, the Intercontinental title. So I think, and it feels so. To not ramble, it feels like they don't know where to put him, and more so, I think that's their mid card on Raw, where like you don't know where to put people as of right now, and hopefully they'll get that together. Cause I do love Braun Breaker as Intercontinental Champion. Hopefully this run will be better than the last time he had the belt. So like just put them. So more so, just put stuff in place to put people in the right position to succeed.
All right. What was next?
We had Bronson Reed brawling it out with Seth Rollins.
Yes. I mean,
I'm sorry.
I don't want to say it's not getting stale and it's not dragging, but it needs to happen already. Again, I need these two to just finally have a real, honest to goodness. Let's get it over with. Put them in a cage, do something, and let's. You know what I mean? Because I feel like there's too much.
Bronson Reed is joining the New Bloods. Then
right.
I love that. I'm like you said last night. I'll say it again. Not sure why people. I get if I had a choice of just being a 4 for 4 then 5 for 5, definitely for 4 for 4. But if we're gonna put someone on the teams, I truly am interested with Bronson Reed being with New Blood. It looks good. But as for the feud of him himself, me personally, I don't like Seth like that. Like I'm not sure when it happened, but for me, Seth does not move does not move the needle for me in anything. I am not excited to see Seth Rollins in any capacity. More so, you have him winning as well.
I mean, when he won the championship, like every single match he had, we were always rooting for him to lose. Like even to get the title, we were like, "Come on, AJ!" And it was like, "Come on, Finn! Come on, Shinsuke!"
It's like no offense, for he does not move. I'm not sure if he needs to give up this kooky villain. That's like, see, I said villain. He's a baby face. You laugh like a crackhead. No offense. So it really is like I don't care about Seth, but as a right, so I know I'm in the minority. There's a reason why he's in the position he's in now, but yeah.
Like that's the whole thing to it, though, is that like he did this big old babyface run. The fans didn't like it. He turned heel, and the fans were like, "Fantastic, yes." And then they just kept the heel character, but made him a babyface as the heel character.
And that his character is not a babyface person. It's like you just laughing in people's faces. Like that is not a babyface thing to do.
Like, I mean, it's such a weird thing. And the problem isn't Seth. the problem isn't the fans. The problem is the writing.
Maybe not. I don't say it's Seth. I think it's Seth's character. Honestly,
He needs to be a heel that we cheer. He doesn't need to be a heel pretending to be a babyface.
Seth?
Yeah.
Seth.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about.
They
Yeah.
write him as a babyface. They need to stop writing him as a babyface. They need to write him as a heel and just let the fans treat him like a babyface. Because that would work.
But the thing about that is that's more so you're leaning on the fans for that, and the fans are not reliable. They're not reliable in that capacity.
And when that happens, you roll with it.
Yeah, you just roll with it. But yeah, as soon as let's end this and get Bronson Reed to something that I like. Bronson Reed versus Braun Breaker. Give me that. Bronson Reed versus Jacob Fatu, because all in all, they're not going to get along. Give me that. I like there's so many other things you can do with Bronson Reed, except him versus Seth, that I will be enjoying. That's just me.
Like, I think it was Cody Rhodes who said it as, like, wrestling's not as black and white anymore. It's just different shades of gray. Seth Rollins' shade of gray is darker than WWE thinks it is.
Facts. All right.
Next on the itinerary. Oh, shoot. That was next.
What?
Something in between. Damian Priest versus Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah, I thought that was what. See, it's a 2-hour show, so if it was 3 hours, it would have been later on the card, but it's not. So that's why I feel like it's so earlier than usual.
I mean, Damian won as you should. I mean, that's the point here, is that he's, Ludwig's below the two of them, and he's, Gunther's trying to soften Damian up, I guess, or whatever, whatever. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yes.
Gunther retreated, seemingly intimidated by Damian Priest.
I mean, I thought that even though I wasn't a big fan of their little, face-to-face to open the show, per se, I did think that for a guy that doesn't really do it a whole lot, I thought that when Priest was talking, Gunther did a decent job at looking a little hesitant, and I thought he did it hearing further. And I think he's doing a decent job of at least trying to create a little bit of, doubt around his ability to maybe beat Damian Priest.
We had Sami Zayn talking to Seth Rollins backstage.
Oh yeah, because it was a small promo, but nonetheless, yeah, it was New Blood. Sorry, the OTC Old Blood talking about getting a fifth member. Sami said he had somebody, and Jimmy was like, "Who you got?" He's like, "Don't worry about that. I love them back together, even for a little bit. I love them back together. Like, just trust me, I got this." And so,
except Jimmy's doing the role of Jay.
A little bit, but like it's not as tension heavy though. Yeah,
because back then it was Sammy and Jimmy who were all buddy, and Jay like off to the corner looking. And now it's Jay and Sammy being all buddy, and you got Jimmy in the corner like, oh.
Yeah. But they're cute together.
So I guess I'm somewhat okay with the fact that it's not. I didn't necessarily want Kevin Owens as the person that Sammy was going to go approach to be the fifth member. At the same time, I really don't want it to be Seth Rollins. Like, don't we have any more wrestlers? Like, I mean, why does it feel like it's always the same fucking guys? I mean, Seth Rollins is in like 6 storylines. Well, I mean, there's other guys on the roster. I don't understand why it always has to be. Feels like it always has to be Seth Rollins, or so I don't know. I was a little disappointed in that choice, but I guess it is.
Honestly, who is there?
Well, so not to that, but I'm a storyline person. So, like I said again, if you're going to have someone who is not part of the Anawati family in any capacity be a part of this War Games, at least have them somewhat we call it somewhat connected to the story. So, as to Sammy's point, he was like, "You're close to Roman as a brother than anyone else here. So will you be a part of our team?" Don't do that. The Shield
Well,
is
it's
still
like
a
6
good
degrees
thing.
of separation. So we have one guy that was in a faction with him 10 years ago,
Top
and that's
three
the
factions.
closest
Let's be
we
very
have on
clear.
the roster to someone that has any kind of other connections to Roman that we can actually
That's
put in the
that's
story.
not just being an enemy. Like you wouldn't get Drew
Fuck.
McIntyre because
Well,
like
look, you say that there's a
whether
faction.
babyface or heel, they've always been butting heads. They've never worked together. They've
Like,
always been against each other. Whenever Roman's a babyface, Drew's a heel. Whenever Drew's a babyface, Roman's a heel.
But at least to coexist would be fun.
It's like you're both heels now. We can do this.
I
but
don't
yeah,
know.
so
I mean,
like,
I'm not here
Well,
for Drew.
actually, no. Roman's a fucking babyface now. Never mind.
I'm not here for Drew in that spot either, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a name for you. I can't give you a name, which means I'm part of the problem because I don't have a solution. I'm just saying, I'm here to complain. That's all. I don't have any solutions. I just want to complain, and I'm tired of seeing Seth Rollins on my TV screen all the time. It feels
This is the
like
thing.
he's their safety net go-to. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
The
like,
the only
okay.
other option we have is bring new bloodline members in from the family.
or letting the world burn and having Moxley come back.
I mean, I don't.
I don't think he's leaving AEW anytime soon.
Yeah, and I was
Come
just about to say, I don't think that WWE would bring in a contracted AEW star to do anything because if they did, AEW has stated they must say that they are an AEW wrestler.
Interesting.
Make the Forbidden Door actual Forbidden Door. Come on.
What's up, Tommy?
Like when WWE wanted to bring in freaking Daddy Ass, that's the condition that Tony Khan made. You just have to say he's an AEW wrestler. And they said, we're good.
Yeah.
I mean, that was. I'm not sure who said it, but they are getting better at breaking down the expulsion of it's not just us. Oh, what was this? There you go. The This Man documentary. The last episode, they actually talked about AEW coming into view in 2019. They actually had to get their stuff together. It's like, oh, so it's like they're acknowledging
I
a
mean,
little
clearly,
bit.
Tommy likes Seth Rollins. Maybe that's a sentiment that is shared by more people than I'm aware of. Maybe it's just me that's a hater. Well, we know I'm a
Okay.
hater, so.
Nope.
But
Real quick question. Tell me if you can, how old are you? Because I feel like she's younger than us. And that might be also a thing too. Where it's like, even though we were here at the time of
I thought
the
Tommy
Shield,
was older than me.
you think?
I think Tommy's older than me.
Hey, let us know. Let us know because I think I also like even though we're Shield people, Seth feels like someone for younger people.
I guess it's okay for a woman to ask a woman, but as men, we're never supposed to ask a woman what her age is.
This is true. Yes, this is true.
So.
This is true.
Oh, she's a year older than I am, so she's 49.
You like Seth? Wow. You like Seth?
So.
All right, let's go. Thank you for telling us. Appreciate it, girl.
Up next, we had Karrion Kross threatening The Miz. But it was all a ploy to smoke out the Wyatt Six.
Look, this.
What's up, Cody? Thanks for joining us.
Hey. Look, this is insane because it took all this time to rehabilitate Karrion Kross to actually make him somewhat entertaining, and that would mean to turn off my screen. It took New Day, it took the Y6, and the breaking point. It took the Miz. It's like what? Like it really is a testament of what can make someone actually. I'm gonna say that left turn into a successful career. It took him like the Miz,
and
now you're in a
and it just further shows you how good the Miz is. Like, I mean, when this happened, I was like, oh, Now I'm interested in the Final Testament. Like, this actually makes them interesting. Like, they have somebody that actually moves the needle now. Like, assuming that he's actually a member and staying, and this isn't just like a one-off. I'm helping you. It appears he's staying and becoming a member, which I'm all for that. I mean, that actually makes Final Testament exciting a little bit, and I think it also raises, even though they haven't been hurting, but I think it also raises Wyatt Six profile a little bit too. I mean, I think it just it
it,
makes
it,
them all.
it raised the profile of this feud
Yeah,
because no offense, without the Miz, Final Testament, and Wyatt Six wasn't interested. Somehow adding the Miz, I'm somewhat interested.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but the best thing that Karrion Kross had done on the main roster up till this point was his feud with Drew McIntyre. Am I wrong?
Don't even remember that.
I haven't. Cody says the new Raw logo for Netflix era next year. I haven't actually seen it yet. Have you guys seen it?
Mm.
I have not seen it yet, so I will have to check that out. Thanks for letting us know. Tommy says Miz is just a goofball. Yeah, but
he's a lovable goofball.
he's a main event goofball though. He's a needle mover. I mean, for me at least. I mean, I'm always excited when the Miz is involved. I mean, I feel like everything he does is good.
I think it'd be cool if like it was the Netflix logo, but then it stretches out and it becomes the right end of the W, and then starts to spell out the other letters.
You hear that? Don't. Yeah, I see it.
All right, what was next?
Or you could do the inverse. You could have Raw, and then it crunches down and becomes the end.
Next.
It's not hard to make an N from a W.
That's true. That's true.
All right. So the Wyatt Six came out. Miz started beating a chair on Eric Rowan's back, and then everybody started brawling. We had Nikki Cross and Scarlett on the outside. AOP, they did their double tag team move where they pick them up, they bump bodies, and then double bomb. It was a pretty good spot. And
yeah.
I'm excited to see what they do next.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's the first time I've really been excited for Final Testament. I think the Miz actually helps a lot with them.
Up next, we had the Women's Tag Team Championship.
I'm on my own against the wall. The building didn't ever gonna fall. Go, sorry.
I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on this match?
Well,
I mean, go ahead.
I mean, what are your thoughts, Sammy? Because
I enjoyed Naomi rushing to the ring.
What? Say this is crazy because you say that, and my mind goes, "What was the main? This is the main event. This was the main. Like 2 hours flies freaking by. This was the main event. So, remind me though who it was. It was the Chocolate Child of the Power versus who?
It was Livin Raquel.
Raquel. Okay, thank you. All right. No, because again, I'm like, when you say women's tag team match, my mind does not think main event. So that's why I had to recalibrate what was going on. I'm like, okay, now I'm here. Me personally, I will never be bored of watching Jade and Bianca in any match, in any capacity. That's just me. Liv and Raquel, my thoughts and feelings will never change, and you can always see them on the show. Don't like Raquel. I'm sorry. Don't like Liv. Liv is annoying, but them together makes her a little bit more palatable.
Nia Jackson, Tiffany.
Yeah. So let me go to the whole match. So they're doing well to get like just being a tag team match, and even though I don't like them choose. I don't like champion versus champion because even though I don't like Liv, you need more stars. People are out, so you need to get built up. Even if so, you have to make that choice. But to the flip side of that is you don't know who's going to win. So that creates a little more intrigue in the match. This was good. So I'm sorry, I'm keep going. Nia Jax and Tiffany comes out. I believe they come out because they don't like Jade and Bianca, which is again I'm all here for on SmackDown, right? That was cool. And then Naomi comes out to help. I like that. And all in all, Chuck Tower of the Powers win. I'm okay with that because this is a tag team match. So you're living, even though Liv and Raquel were tagging, they don't have that much experience. Like it's been a minute. They've been rusty. So I'm okay with them losing to the women's tag team champions. Then all in all, you had this whole fight ensue, and Io comes out to help out, and I don't like to I don't like to assume before confirmation because like people be in their feelings. It's like, hold up, wait, we don't even know what's going to happen. But I think the guesstimation is this is leading to women's war games, and to that I say we got some work to do. We got some work to do because I'm a story girl, and it's like, hold up, Bianca, you don't like Bailey, but you gonna be cool with Io. I need you to cut a promo about that, you know. Even though I love all five of these, I'm perfectly fine with Io, Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. There's only 4 people out there.
Yeah.
Io. I'm okay with these 4 teaming together, but you're gonna have to tell me how it makes sense because Bianca, you harboring a whole lot of heavy feelings for Bailey, but you don't like Io. You gotta make it make sense, chick. You gotta make it make sense. Even though I can die it down because Bianca and Bailey were feuding before she was in damage control. That was part of the Panorama 2, which was awesome. That's when Bianca picked up Otis, and that was cool. So I can kind of see why you have a little bit more heart feelings, but I need that promo to sort this out. I'm not talking.
I mean, this is what it is. I'm not a Raquel fan, so I don't have a problem with them losing, and I'm not a Liv fan, so I really don't have a problem with them losing. Liv doesn't need 2 belts ever. She doesn't need 1 belt ever, let alone 2 belts. And in no world, in my opinion, should ever Liv and Raquel be beating Bianca and Jade. So this went down the way that it should. That being said, ultimately, it was more just kind of a big clusterfuck. And I'm assuming, like you said, that the reason for this is that we're building, we're in Survivor Series. What is this mode here, right? It's season. Thank you. That's the right word that I was drawing a blank on. So it makes sense. I'm sure we're getting a women's War Games Survivor Series match, something. And these women will all be involved in some capacity. So it is what it is. I mean, for a main event spot, I'm glad the women get it. It's always great to see Jade and Bianca, on my TV screen. And again, women getting the main event spot and women's storylines getting the main event segment is always fun. I thought it was fine for what it was. I mean, it wasn't like I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But it wasn't like, oh shit, this is terrible either. So I thought it was fine. I mean, I thought it was fine for what it was.
And I'll talk about real quick. People were like, the women were in the main event, but they were criticizing how we got here. Now, look, I do get it. Where it's like, hold up, you're doing such good work with the men. The women just deserve more storylines. I do get that, but I think let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Of hold up, wow, we're actually getting more women time on the show. Plus, they're actually the main event. Plus, so it's like I feel like people over criticize and don't see. Hey. They're actually it's more good in this segment than bad. It's like maybe that's just maybe just me like point that out. Point that out. Yes, this grades a C, but I was getting an F last season. So yes, let's praise the C of the women being the main event.
Right. Yeah. No, I definitely.
I'm not saying they can't do better, but babies. Okay, I know baby steps is a harsh word because why would take a baby step on something that should already be like jumps and leaps abound? But yes, baby steps. Yes, I'm going to praise the baby steps.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you've got to appreciate it when they do it right, whether it's, one time or 100 times. You still have to appreciate when they do it right. So,
Yeah.
and so this time it was better than it has been, and so definitely got to give it some credit. I thought the show overall was decent. I didn't think it was great. I know Sammy said before that he thought it was a terrible episode at the beginning of our review here, so I'm interested to see what his grade is. We'll leave that till the last one because it's spicy. But I'm gonna give this. This was, man. I hate giving them just the same grade all the time, but it felt like probably like a B minus. It was a little lower than I don't think it was. I think it was above a C, but it was a little bit lower than a solid B. I'm gonna give it a B minus this week.
I like so again. I appreciate consistency. Like at least it doesn't suck. At least it doesn't suck. Like I rather you do this than do this. So I do agree with you. B minus. Whereas like the stuff I was invested in, I love them finding of even though I prefer 4 for 4 on War Games men, I do love them finding a person. It's fun. So I'm invested. The women actually had time on the show. I'm invested. So I can't not like I can't wait till the 10th anniversary of New Day, which is going to be on Raw, because I don't know what the frick is going to happen. And they're doing a great job with that. I'm invested. So B minus.
All right, Sammy, what's your grade?
What's a pirate's favorite letter?
R.
No, it be the C.
It be the C. All right. So Sammy's giving it a C. We gave it a B minus, me and Anika, before we jump on to NXT. Cody says,
You
that's
guys
when it
mind if I
Raw.
run grab breakfast? Like, I'm starving here. Continue on without me. I'll be back.
Okay.
Sounds good. Cody says that's the date that they'll be premiering Raw on Netflix. So yeah, excited for that. It should be fun. I'm interested to see. You know, Vince always loved to kind of toe, if not blur the line between what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable on TV in some regards. And now that, I mean, I know he's gone, but again, I say this, you know, uh, Triple H is of the Vince McMahon learning tree. So, it'll be interesting to see if on a streaming platform where they don't have the cable restrictions, what Raw is going to look like as far as how far they're going to be willing to push it. Obviously, language will be one thing. It will be wonderful to hopefully not have to hear them bleep out the crowd chanting "Holy shit!" There's nothing more annoying than when I'm watching Raw or NXT and all of a sudden, like the feed just goes silent because the crowd is chanting something that they don't want over the microphone. It's like, come on, really? Like,
Yeah.
I get it, but come on. So I'm hoping that that at minimum will be a big difference. It'll be very interesting to see. I think it will be less insane without Vince in charge. Like, I'm glad that Vince isn't the one that's in charge of this when it's going to Netflix because I can't even imagine what it would look like.
Right.
But I still am very interested to see how much they try to push the envelope. At the same time, that being said, WWE has always been a family oriented product to a certain extent, and kids love wrestling, and so you don't want to make it too like where parents are like, hey, I don't want them watching that, even beyond what it already is, which sometimes the violence is more than they probably should be watching at some younger ages. um, so I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how they tell that line. What do you think it's going to look like?
So when I find it, I'm gonna send it to you. It was one person who watching the match and just got feet to the face. Anyway, sorry. It was something on YouTube, and it was I'm pretty sure he's a content creator, and he did. So the headline said, this is the Raw promo when it goes to Netflix. And so dude was like, you saw it? It's like, so you know what? I hate you. And you know what? You know, I hate you, and I'm going to. But you know what? You did something with my family, so you know what? Bump this match. I'm gonna pull out the strap. I'm gonna kill you all, man. Cause like you're on Netflix. You gotta be dirt. I'm pull out the strap. I'm just gonna go crazy on you. I'm going to the ring right now. And so, and like, hold on, wait. And so, I don't want it to be that crazy. But I wouldn't mind them putting a little bit of that on the first episode of Netflix. The first episode of Netflix. I wouldn't mind if they do that just a little bit. And then thinking about this is crazy. Thinking about the Karrion Kross and Wyatt Six feud, you can do it. There's places for you to do it. And so I'm like you said, Vince took it way too far sometimes. He took it way too far to the point of, sir, just give me the pad. Come here. Put this down. You can go home. But I do for a story. I do want just a little bit of cookiness. So the first episode of Raw, I wouldn't mind a little. Well, let me be very clear. Well written cookiness. I don't want product placement of, oh, you just had Stranger Things people here and the lights flicker. That's dumb. But I would like,
Right.
but I would like the Lincoln lawyer to come in and try to help someone out because, oh, you try to help White Six out because you took a kidnap the Miz. So yeah, you might need a lawyer for that. I wouldn't mind them bringing something that nicely put together. Like just give me a little bit of crazy. Just give me a little bit of crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. I mean, I imagine the part of the agreement is that the playbook's pretty wide open, so it'll be interesting to see. And I'm wondering how much involvement Netflix will have in, if any, in any of the creative process. I mean, we know in the past that some of the networks have at least voiced opinions on what they wanted to have potentially happen, or who they liked as champion, or who they might not want on their TV. So representing their channel. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see how involved Netflix is. I do see a definite avenue for WWE and wrestling, especially in the past 10 years has done more cinematic stuff than ever. And I could see Netflix, getting involved and WWE kind of wanting to maybe do a few more cinematic things. And the Wyatt Six seems to be one of those groups that would be perfect for a more cinematic type storyline. And I can see Final Testament and Wyatt Six being much more cinematic, i.e., some type of movie kind of feel almost to it, which I'm here for. I mean, that would make sense to me, being that they're part of Netflix now or on Netflix now, and that's kind of what Netflix does a lot of original programming, so
Like
that would make sense.
like they're a phone call away. You use your resources. If you don't like Triple H, Paula, that listen to me. Use your resources. If you don't know how to do a storyline, call them. People don't. I'm pretty sure it's more technical and contract wise. But yes, call them crackheads over there on the phone and tell them, hey, how to make this storyline better? How should this end? How do I bring up this person? Like, oh my. Even though she's on SmackDown, for one quick second, let Chelsea Green be on the freaking be on the debut of Raw and let her just go geek out.
So, all right. So we will switch gears here and move into NXT from the next night, November 12th. It was a very exciting NXT. We're back. We're no longer in the ECW arena. We're back home at our regular rowdy crowd. Um, and this show, just real quick, it did open with the women and close with the women, which I enjoyed a lot. For a minute, I kind of almost felt like maybe the women's matches should have switched places, but the the main event was for the North American Championship, so I guess that puts it in a little bit higher place. But I do find it interesting that Stephanie and Julia aren't necessarily the closing out the show or the main event picture, but they were wrestling Lash and Jakara, which definitely aren't or haven't been booked so far like that. I mean, this is really their first opportunity to even wrestle what I would call main event caliber women just so far. So
Right.
But it did open with the metaphor Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson versus Julia and Stephanie Vicaire. Julia and Stephanie did get the win, but I thought Lash and Jakara had an opportunity to
Hmm.
look okay. The match went almost 11 minutes, so it wasn't necessarily short. And I mean, it wasn't like perfection in any way, shape, or form, but I thought it was okay for what it was. And more time to see Julia and Stephanie on my TV screen, I'm always happy with. They always look good. I think it helps. This is a developmental situation, right? It's a show,
Yeah.
it's a developmental situation. It's great to put two women that are showing promise in Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend that need
Hmm.
the reps, that need to work with really good, solid women wrestlers that can show them what to do and put them in a match with two of the best women wrestlers on the planet. So for that, I thought it came across okay for what it was. And I'm glad that they're getting those reps. And I do think both women have potential. I mean, I don't like metaphor, but right now we're really just getting the two of them because Noam Dar
Hmm.
is gone, and we haven't seen Ora Mense in a minute. I don't know what's going on with him. He wasn't like injured or anything, but he's just been gone for a minute
Hopefully it's
since
not.
his little
Yeah.
feud with Ethan Page. Um, and so, if we're just gonna have these two, I mean, I'm kind of okay with that. So I thought this is fine. What do you think about this?
I want to piggyback on what you just said. This is a prime example of iron sharpens iron. I was like, I'm trying to think. I wasn't sure of how many matches Shakar and Lash had as a tag team on the NXT and who they really were facing. I don't think there's like I think there were it was probably developmental with developmental, right? But you
Yeah,
can
for the
tell
most
it's like
part.
yeah. So you have Stephanie Vacour and Julia coming to the scene, and it really just raised the profile of Lash and Shakar. I
Yeah,
think they did a great job keeping up. This was a very entertaining match, and like you said, they have them being in the tag team division, even on SmackDown, going against Jade and Bianca, and being in the 4-way inside with Jade, Bianca, and Io and Kyrie. They don't look out of place, and I love that about that. Like they don't.
yeah,
Of course, they're you can tell the experience, but it's not like a vast difference of oh my god, why they're here. Like no, they have this
yeah,
opportunity, and they don't look like they suck, and I love that about them. So
yeah,
I love this. Like, this is a very entertaining match. This is how you start off a good NXT. And I'm okay with them slowing things down with Julia and Stephanie. When I say slowing down, like, I know, premiere of NXT, I think we're all like, oh, she should win, right? And it's like, yes and no. Now, Cora J being the reason why she lost, boo. But I am all here for nicely placed movement. I'm here for let's not rush this because in my mind, even though yes, the main roster is the goal, uh, NXT on CW. And we need good, so we need at least a good. Can you give us at least a year of great matches before you call someone up? So I'm here for a nicely paced rise of Julia and Stephanie. But this was great. Yeah, I love this.
yeah. I mean, I think it was good. And post match, we did get a little bit of that um, Stephanie and Julia looking at each other because they are both going to have matches, qualifying matches for the NXT Iron Survivor Challenge, Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. And in theory, if they both won their matches, they would both be in that Iron Survivors match. So we
Yeah,
could see them facing off against each other. At the same time, I think they're killing it at the moment as a tag team, and I like what they're doing.
right.
And I think it really helps NXT because the women's tag team on NXT has fairly been pretty non-existent. You ask who is Jakara and Lash been wrestling, my answer would be really nobody. I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of women's tag team wrestling. I mean, a lot of what they've done so far has just been the valets for Aura and Noam Dar. I mean, they both had some singles action. Jakara more than Lash, but as a tag team,
Right.
I think they've only had a couple matches. So I mean, the fact that they did as well as they did for only having a couple matches together,
Yeah.
I think speaks a lot. So um, Then we had a video package about the Iron Survivor Challenge, which is extremely complex. I can try and explain it. It appears that it's like a gauntlet match to a certain extent, but then the loser, if you get pinned, you have to go stand in the cage for X amount of time, and then you can, if you can get out and get back in the match, and whoever, once everyone's in the ring, whoever has the most, maybe it's not once everyone's in the ring, but whoever has the most pins or pinfalls at the end of the time limit is the winner of the Iron Survivor match. I don't know if you got a little bit more detail, it made a little more sense to you, but
no, you actually explained it quite beautifully. It's basically all right. Yeah, to make it a little bit more simpler, you're in this match. You're trying to get points. It's a gauntlet match, but whoever gets the most pins wins. If you do get pinned, you are penalized, and you can't be in the match for a good amount of time. So like. But all in all,
I guess I was a little confused. Though. Is it going to be one-on-one the whole time, or is it women keep coming down and eventually you have all of them in the ring?
Yeah. It's going to be one-on-one. Okay. It's going to be one-on-one for a nice set amount of time, and then I want to say probably like Royal Rumble rules. Every one minute and 50, someone's going to come down. Yes.
Okay. That's what I was a little unclear about. So, no, I mean, it sounds like it should be fun. They're doing it for both the men's and the women's. So that's the big NXT storyline at the moment. Yeah. And that leads into our next match, which was the Women's Iron Survivor qualifier match between Cora Jade and Sol Ruca. Yeah. In which Sol Ruca actually got the win in a very short amount of time.
Right?
I was very surprised by this because I feel like they brought Cora Jade back with a lot of hoopla. They put her with Roxanne Perez. They had her in a match with Julia and Stephanie as Roxanne, the best friend, and she was being positioned. And now here in this, she loses in 3.5 minutes to a mid. Someone that they've treated like a mid-carder. I love Sol Ruca, and I think Sol should be.
Yes.
And I think she has a bright future and lots of potential, but this just felt weird here, especially so quick. I wonder if there wasn't something else going on almost. I don't know what that could be, but like it just felt really weird. What did you think?
Very surprised of the outcome. I'm not mad at it. Let's be very clear. I'm not mad at it at all. But like you said, yeah, they brought him. It's more so, and then you have her as the reason that Julia lost the championship. I'm going to with all tournaments that lead up to the main match on the pay-per-view, I'm going to assume you're going to have a last chance qualifier, and that's when Cora Jade wins. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but maybe that's why they're going to do it. But yeah, in my mind, if you're going to make her, if you're going to let her be the reason Julia wins, you're gonna have to hype her up somehow. And hope
this would have made sense if Julia had came out and cost her the match.
Well, again, you're not a heel, so you can't be that petty.
No, but at least that would at least it would make sense for why it feels like Cora Jade, who you tried to position as a main event girl on your roster, is getting squashed by someone you've treated as a mid-carder. Right. You know what I mean? So, because it felt like a squash match. I mean, it was only like 3.5 minutes. I mean, it was very short. I mean, it didn't. Yeah. It's like they never even gave Cora Jade a chance. I thought it was very weird. If it had gone 10 minutes and Sol got the win, or Julia cost her the match, even though that's not a babyface thing to do or whatever, then that would at least made sense. But this is just weird. I mean, the whole thing is.
So I'm gonna say it's a squash match. I'm gonna say that this is just a short match. And I'm gonna say squash was a very, very short match. Yeah. And like I said, hopefully, even though I don't like anyone, that don't mean that you have to. You can't do nothing with the girl. So it's like, yes, hopefully she gets a last chance and wins that. Like, you're gonna have to make her losing to her being the reason Julia lose worth it. And hopefully it wasn't just because Cora needed a tag team partner. Roxanne needed a tag team partner against Julia and Stephanie. Hopefully that wasn't the only reason you let her do it. Now I'm not saying she should beat Julia. I'm just saying you made your decision. You gotta put more effort into Cora Jade. You do.
Yeah, I mean, or don't. I mean, but you can't do both. You can't do it you can't do it on this Tuesday and then treat her like a mid-carder the next Tuesday. Like
Right.
you've got to be consistent. I mean, I don't like her as a main eventer. I don't like her at all. But if you're gonna make her, then at least keep her doing what you can't have her waffle back and forth. That looks terrible. So
Yeah. Yeah.
next we had Javon and Cedric backstage talking about how they're getting geared up and ready to be for their qualifying matches for the men's Iron Survivor Challenge. Very short segment, but still fun. I mean, I like to see these two guys together. They look very like a tag team. They kind of have similar hairdos and similar gear, and they kind of look like they're. So I mean, it's fun. Carmen Petrovich seems to be hitting on Dion Lennox. Really Reese interrupts, says what's going on. Ashante comes in and says, I can't believe you're hitting on my girl, to Dion, and I thought we were friends. And Dion's like, when were we ever friends? And so it appears, much to my dismay, that they're going to continue this dumb storyline. It looks like maybe we'll get a match out of it. I don't know if that's good or bad, but maybe we might get Carmen and Ashanti versus Dion and Brindley. I don't know. They stop doing this. That's what I'm going to say. Stop doing this. I don't know anything about Dion Lennox, but Ashanti the Adonis is a solid wrestler, and he deserves a better storyline than this. This is not good, and I say it every week. It's bad. So, what would you think of this?
Kind of agree. This was better. Just like they're getting progressively better with these segments, even though the progressively is maybe a centimeter of better. But they are getting somewhat better about it, though. And like in my mind, I'd rather you have done behind stuff and be on my TV than be in catering. So, so please yes, do better, but yeah, Adonis should be on my TV, so that's why I'm not that pressed about this.
Sammy, any comment on the terrible behind the third segment between Ashante and Dion and the girls?
Weird.
All right, so we had Ava holding a meeting with all the teams in the tag team division, and as you would assume, when you have 25 million people in one room and they all have an opinion on something, everyone started bickering, and inevitably it got loud and no one could follow anything. Yeah. And Ava ended up telling them all basically to shut up and show her. So
she also went over what every team is good at, talking about their plus sides, and then when she got to the family, it was like, you guys make people disappear. Allegedly.
No, this was funny. I enjoyed this. Ava's good at what she does, and she's a good talker, and I thought this was good and funny. Anything you guys want to say about this other than what Tammy just said?
No, very so agree.
All right. So that led to our first men's Iron Survivor Challenge match between Wesley and Cedric Alexander.
Yes, freaking please.
Yes. This was very solid. Wesley got the win, but in a very solid match. I really enjoyed watching these two. Both these guys can really wrestle. It's great to see Cedric back on my TV screen wrestling. And, Wesley's, we say things about Wesley as being, an NXT, lifer and whatever. And, is he good enough for the main roster? And does it matter ultimately? I mean, I don't mind him being on NXT. I mean, for him it does. I'm sure he wants to get to the main roster. For him, it makes a huge deal. For me as an NXT fan, I like Wesley, and I don't mind seeing him on my NXT TV screen every week. And I think he helps continue to make the men's division solid and good. So I'm here for that. So I definitely don't necessarily want him to go. But no, I thought this was really good. I enjoyed this. What do you guys think?
I miss Cedric. I'm so glad that they gave this match time, and with Wesley, it just fit. It was so freaking good. You can tell it's like, all right, I got a little bit of wrestling on me. Let me dust it off just a little bit, but no, he can still go. It was so good.
Well, I never had doubt about that.
Well, it's been even though okay, I haven't seen Speed. No offense. So I don't know. I haven't seen Cedric wrestle a good match in a minute. So I love that they gave him. They gave, like I said, they gave this match time and actually showcase. This could have been I'm gonna beat up the old dude, but no, there's actually they actually gave Cedric a lot of offense in this match, which I do enjoy. And even in the ending, it wasn't Wesley just straight up beat him. He actually used a turnbuckle and beat him, and I love that. So I love yes.
Yeah, and whatchamacallit, Cedric hit the Michinoku driver for the close 2 count right at the end. I mean, no, I think they did a good job of making it look like Cedric could have won that match. And, for me, I wasn't totally sure who was going to win,
Yeah.
especially after Sol Ruka beating Cora Jade so easily or so quickly. Maybe not easily, but quickly in the women's first round match. I was like, oh, well, now, I mean, it's the men, but it's still, I mean, I know it's not the women, but it's like, oh, well, this is a little unpredictable now. Like, I'm not totally sure what I think is going to happen here.
I don't know about calling Cedric the old dude.
Well,
Older
Wesley
dude.
and Cedric, how much of a difference? In my mind, it's 10 years, but how much of a difference
5.
of their ages? 5? Yeah, the seasoned dude. All right, the seasoned dude.
That just goes to show you just how early in his career Cedric was getting on. I mean, because feels like Wesley's been around for a while, but not that long, and like
Yeah.
they're already close to the same age. But Cedric was here 20 years ago as a
Um,
superstar. It
shout
feels
out-
like.
Shout out Lucha Underground. First place I saw Wesley.
Yep.
Mm. And
All right.
shout out to Cruiserweight Classic when Cedric shined. Pretty
Yep.
not bad.
Tony D is eating at the restaurant when Sean Spears and Brooke Jensen come in. Spears wants a North American title shot for Jensen, which is a little odd. They leave. They get into the car.
Rich Jensen like a serial killer.
It's driven by Nico Vance, who's been on Level Up for a while now, and apparently is going to now become a member of the D'Angelo family on NXT. What do you guys think of this segment? What do you think of Nico being making the move up? What?
Why is he going to be in the family?
Well, I don't know. Isn't he? Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Maybe not. I apologize. I'm trying to remember how exactly it went down. Did he leave with Spears and?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. You're right. I apologize. He left with Spears, so he's going to be with Spears. I apologize. With Spears and Jensen, not with the family. That's my bad. I forgot exactly how it went down. But what do you guys think of this overall? And
Brooks Jensen looks like a serial killer. I fear for Sean Spears' life. I'm like, why are you in the back? Don't ever go in the back. Unlock the door, tuck and roll. This looks creepy. When they left, it looks creepy. But if you're not wrestling, the Tony family are best for these segments. So this was entertaining. I like this. Yes.
Sammy?
That group has been doing well. You got the girl in Fatal Influence. You got Brooks Jensen, now Sean Spears, and then you got your boy. He was shown earlier in the tag team segment, but he left when she started talking tag teams.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it feels like, for me personally, he was the best of that group, and it feels like maybe he's gotten the least push since then, or the least amount of storyline action since then, but it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Again, one of those situations where I don't totally understand why there's a disconnect with some people, because I think Josh Briggs is amazing, so, but it is what it is. They clearly like Brooke Jensen. I mean, they continue to find stuff for him to do and ways to try to get him over. So they obviously think there's something there. So and it'll be interesting to see what Nico does on the main roster. I haven't seen him on Level Up, but he looks the part. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Kalani wants her North American title back, and she says she's going to beat Fallon Henley tonight for it. Which,
Let's see.
Hyping up for the main event. Kalani Jordan's a good talker. Trick's here for a chat, and he gets right to the point by saying he wants Ridge out here right now. Instead, Andre Chase comes out. They have a little do-do-do, and then Ridge comes out, and it ultimately ends up being more of a discussion between Ridge and Andre Chase, kind of a face-off than it is have to do with Trick.
It seemed like Trick was getting more offended about what Ridge was saying to Chase than what Chase was feeling.
Right. Trick respects Chase and is willing to offer him a title shot over Hollins, but Ridge doesn't like that. So, what do you guys think of this overall?
Oh, so I'm freaking fourth wall. I'm watching it right now. Okay, NXT. It's on low, but is this for who challenges Trick next for his title?
They
Mm-hmm.
didn't necessarily.
Why?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they haven't said it like that, but yes, I'm assuming that either Ridge or Andre Chase will be Trick's next opponent.
Well, I
So
could have
to
sworn they
that,
shown that in a graphic later in the night.
Oh, maybe they did. Maybe
so
I missed that graphic. I don't know.
to that I say, again,
Eh?
like I don't like Ridge. I don't like Ridge, but if this is gonna be who faces Trick, he's probably gonna. It makes probably more sense for Ridge to be the one than Chase, unfortunately, because just
Ridge did pin him last week,
that and
but
the
also,
size difference. Yeah,
isn't the dissolvement of Chase U on the line here? Like,
is it?
I thought it was.
You
I
tell
don't.
me.
I
I
don't.
don't know.
I don't think so. I don't remember that per
No,
se.
I
I mean, I could
thought
have just missed it, but
I thought that they had said that because later on when we had the segment of Chase U backstage, they made it sound like he bet Chase U again. It's like, how's he doing this to us again?
mm. Yeah, I don't know. Somehow maybe I might have missed that. I mean, I tried to watch the whole promo and I thought I got it all, but maybe somehow I missed that part of it. I don't know.
I'll
I
confirm
you
it
know
later.
I don't think that either of these people, Ridge or Andre Chase, moved the needle for me as far as a challenger
Mm-mm.
for Trick, and neither of them should be NXT champions. So Trick's obviously beating both of them, right? And so,
Yeah.
which is a little lackluster. You want some unpredictability. It feels like in your in your matches with your world
Unless
champion, but
they see something in Ridge that we don't.
yeah, I mean that's always possible. Who knows? I mean,
Right.
he looks the part, but I don't know that he fits the part. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and Andre Chase, Andre Chase is fine for what he does, but I don't want to see him anywhere around the NXT World Championship. I mean, that
Like
doesn't feel
y'all
like the
haven't
right
hyped him up.
spot.
Y'all have not
Does
hyped him up for that position just yet. But the flip side of it is, every time he has a premium live event, he outshines my expectations. So, so it really is like, maybe not on a premium live event, but on an NXT, if you just want to do like, if you just want to, you like, let's have some fun. Chase U versus Strictly. Let's see. I wouldn't mind that. And then here comes Rich Holland to interrupt it, and you just do that real quick to get that over with.
Yeah. Jada is backstage and is ready to win the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge. So good for her. I like Jada Parker. So I'm happy to see her be confident and get an opportunity. Josh Briggs is in the back with Noah Star, Inamura. They're talking with Ava when they get interrupted by Eddie Thorpe, and Eddie Thorpe says he wants an opportunity, and Ava says she'll give him a qualifying match for this Iron Survivor Challenge.
Right.
Again, I'm a big Josh Briggs fan, and he feels like so he's in there talking to Ava, and here comes Eddie Thorpe, who I don't really care for at all, busts in and takes basically the screen time from Josh, and he gets the Iron Survivor qualifier opportunity. So I guess it is what it is. Anything you want to
Yeah.
say about this?
This was cool. This was fun.
It
I
was
mean,
cool.
honestly, both of those dudes should probably be in the match. Like, they're both
Yeah.
solid dudes.
I mean, they should be having a match against each other to see who gets in. I mean, I'd be fine with Eddie Thorpe versus Josh Briggs, and
Mm-hmm.
as long as Josh Briggs gets in. I mean, I don't have a problem
Right.
with Eddie Thorpe per se. I just have like Josh Briggs a lot. So let's see. Then we had Rizzo of the Family versus Nikita Lyons. Um, Nikita Lyons gets the win with the Vader bomb in about a little under 5 minutes. This was very middle of the road. I could have probably gone without this match. Honestly, I don't mind Rizzo. Like the family probably needs a girl, and I think she's fine. Again, this is a developmental show, and I just have to remind myself of that. And both these women are still developing, so it is what it is. This was definitely a developmental match. What'd you guys think?
I'm like it just finished. And sweet, you said it was 5 minutes. It's a lot behind 5 minutes of my life. Like sweet baby Jesus, I don't like that chick. I don't. And no, okay. You know what? Screw it. This is this is this is our channel. This is my channel. So I don't care. So It's like so. She came into the Kia Lions. She came to the scene. She was thick, and then she got thin, and now you want her to be okay, the Timbos, whatever, and now she's thick again. Now she's using her booty more, and it's just stupid. It's just stupid, and she can't even do it right. And it was so freaking sloppy. I hate this match. I was gonna say I hate her. I don't know you like that, but I can't. Like, no, let's move the freak on. I don't
For
like you.
For Anika to hate somebody, it's bad. She's got to be bad because Anika likes everybody for the most part. So
Yeah, let's not do that.
yeah, well, you do. You're pretty positive on most things. So let's see. The best part of this was at the very end when Rizzo hit her with the crowbar. So I mean, the only problem with that is that I'm assuming we're going to get more of these two, and I don't need to see any more of these two. But it is what it is. At least
Keep
Nikita
her
got
away
hit by the crowbar.
from OB. Keep her away from Obi. That's what more so this was like. It's gonna be Tony D and old girl versus Nikita and Obi. And no, stop it. That's stupid. Keep her away from Obi.
That's right. I remember now. Sammy, you're correct. The next segment was Chase U backstage asking Andre Chase why he's risking Chase U again, and he said he's done this before. So you're right. I remember now that was part of the whatchamacallit from earlier. So Chase U apparently
And
is
that's
on the
crazy.
line as well. So
And that's crazy because, like, in my mind, Chase, I don't want to see Andre Chase by himself. I don't want
right,
to see Fallon Henley. And no offense, do cuts by himself.
Alan
Thea
Henry.
Hale, Thea
Thea
Hale.
Hale.
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah,
Hey, it was a Thea somewhere in her name. But yeah,
I mean,
I
to
don't
be
want to see them
fair,
by
I don't want to
themselves.
see Fallon Henley by herself either. Like she's much better with other people.
But yeah, like Thea. Okay, out of those three, Thea Hale might be the most to come up and get better by herself. But I do like this is no way in a position. This is not a time to break this team up
I
or this
find
group
it
up.
I find it quite funny that Fallon Henley has become the country Mandy Rose.
Right? So stupid. But yeah, so very interesting thing to do for this match. But oh, all right, you know, if you need steaks, give me steaks.
um, we next had a second men's Iron Survivor Challenge match. Javon Evans versus Lexus King in what was okay. I mean, Javon Evans got the win, which I liked. A little over 9 minutes. It's solid. I mean, I thought this match was okay. Lexus King leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. Still, I don't. I mean, I kind of like the turn that he's taken. I think that now over the last few weeks, where he's trying to separate. I'm not my dad, and I'm not going to be whatever, and I'm going to be okay. I mean, you're making a. I guess you're making a face turn. I don't know that he was ever. I mean, I guess he was a heel.
He was a
So I
heel. He was a bad heel, but he was a heel.
so I guess you're making a face turn, which is what it is. After the match, they had some respect for each other, which I guess looks good for him too. I don't know. I mean, I want so much more from him. Javon Evans is great, and I don't have any problem with anything he's doing. Um, but Lexus King, I want more, and I don't know if that's because I know his dad, and his dad was so amazing, and that's not fair to him. But at the same time, I don't know how to get away from that. So I don't know. I want more from Lexus King. What do you guys think of this match and segment?
I think he
This
has
match?
potential. Like he definitely has all the building blocks. Like you just have to set the blocks up and build them up. It's like
Yeah.
I
Um.
feel like he needs a
Yeah.
tag team though. Like I feel
Mm.
like him working as a singles guy, like unless like he's able to like get the crowd behind him, like it's going to be a lot harder for success. Where if he's in a tag team, he can build that up with someone and then go solo later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, I'm with y'all. I appreciate that they got rid of the whole trying to be a rock star like something, but you ain't, and you don't have the charisma for it. Unfortunately, we're not gonna go all the way back to being Brian Pillman Jr. from AEW, but let's just start from ground zero. Okay, let's just start right here, and just more so get rid of the get rid of the fade that's so freaking black in your beard. Let's just let's just get back to who you were, and then let's see how you're special.
What's wrong
Like
with having a fade?
his fade, no, his fade was egregious. Like you didn't, then you put extra Beijing on it, where it's like, sir, your hairline was not that. And then more so when you saw how they used to look, it's like, why? Well, y'all know, y'all know.
That's funny.
Why we acting like this is no? There we go. This is natural. This is not natural. Someone did something extra special for this, and it don't look. It looks bad, but it looks weird. So
That's
yes,
funny.
let's get this off, and let's go back to square one.
So I went to a barber one time, and he gave me a fade, and I was like, well, looks good
Do
to
you
me.
like that? Do you look like that? You look like Lexus King?
Um,
If you did, I need pictures.
If you did, I need pictures. Nathan Frazier tells Axiom he is going to join the Iron Survivor Challenge, and Axiom is not happy. Uh, he doesn't understand. He says, we have enough going on as tag team champions. Why are you trying to do other stuff? We're in a tag team. And then OTM and the D'Angelo family come in. And basically, I say the same thing. You guys don't deserve to be tag team champions. You're not even focused on being tag teams. You got one guy who wants to run off and be a singles wrestler, blah, 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 blah. What'd you guys think of this segment?
It was cool. Again, if we're going here's my thoughts on breaking up tag teams. If you're gonna break up tag teams, at least make sure that both of them, that both parties are gonna be good. Like I'm not gonna say sometimes you can tell someone's better than the other. It is what it is. But at least let both of them be good. Whereas like at least the person who's not the main, who is that star isn't shining as bright, can at least have a good career trying to get better. You know what I'm saying? And at this point, Axiom and Nathan, even though it looks like they're putting more emphasis on Nathan Frazier, I don't think he's there where I want to see him by himself just yet. That's just me. Now,
Yeah.
as for this segment, it's like, sir, yes, we're tag team, but I'm your friend, right? You don't want to see me shine more? It's like no, so it's like you're kind of being a little bit selfish.
Yeah,
If you
I
don't
kind
have
of see him.
any,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
like if we don't have any, like all the tag teams came now, right? But we didn't have an opponent for Survivor Series, or I'm sorry, Deadline. So I was free as of right now.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I get it both ways. Like, I mean, I mean, we're a tag team, but really we're not. We were singles wrestlers first, and I do have a singles. I mean, I have my own career separate from our tag team that I'm interested in also progressing at the same time. So I get it, and we're not doing anything. So why shouldn't I? If I'm Frazier at the same time, if I'm Axiom, I'm like, your attention should be here. Like, we're tag team champions. Focus and pay attention to what we got going on. You can't have all these different coals in the fire, because then we're going to get beat for the tag team titles in the meantime, because you're not focused. So I see it both ways. I think it's funny. I kind of like the little tension. I don't know if it's going to lead to them. They've been hinting a breakup and kind of this tension between these two for a while. So
Right.
it'll be interesting to see what happens if they actually lose the titles, if they end up breaking them up or not. But I think they've grown on me a little bit. I was when we did our tiers, and we talked about whether they should be fired or stayed or split up. I was for splitting them up. They've grown on me a little bit more as a tag team over the last few months. I don't necessarily need to see them split up at this point, especially since the tag team division is is lacking in NXT. They're really basically the tag team division at this point. I mean, we saw this week that there are other tag teams, but for all intents and purposes, it's really just kind of been them at the top of the pile, and not even really many contenders behind them that they've been booked that way. So, they do need someone. So I'm here for them staying together at this point. I don't have a problem with it. I kind of like their contrast in style and their segments, their promos, or their backstage segments. Now it's kind of growing on me. I think it's kind of fun. What about you, Sammy? What you think? Anything? No.
Not really, no.
All right.
I have nothing to add.
All right. Lexus King is frustrated that he lost again. He's got some people trying to calm him down. This ultimately turns into an argument between Hank and Tank and Gallus, which okay, if we're gonna get a match between Hank and Tank and Gallus, I'm here for that. Okay. And then we got our main event of the episode. Women's North American title. Kalani Jordan versus Fallon Henley. Fallon Henley, your defending champion after she beat Kalani Jordan at the last pay-per-view or last PLE.
What if Lexus King led up a tag team? Instead of just being in a tag team, he then gets into a trio where he does singles matches and also does trios matches.
With who?
Why not Hank and Tank? We just mentioned.
Yeah. So I am kind of glad you brought this up because like it does seem like Hank and Tank and Gallows are trying to fight for Lexus King. I don't want neither. No. Hank and Tank, no. That's not going to elevate Lexus King. It's going to bring Lexus King down to Hank and Tank. And I do think Lexus has potential. So no offense to Hank and Tank, but no. And Lexus King does not have that brodiness, that bruteness of being with the Gallows. So let him make his own group. And I get it's cheesy, but heck, yeah, I want the AEW men to come together in some capacity. I want either him and Sean Spears together or Sean Spears with Ethan Page.
I miss the old Gallus theme.
Yeah, he doesn't fit with Gallus, so I definitely don't want that. That doesn't feel like a fit at all. And I don't. Lexus King with Hank and Tank, I think she's right. I mean, if you have any hopes for Lexus King, I think putting it with Hank and Tank is not right. And I don't understand. Clearly, Sean, your boy. No, I like UPK too. He's my boy too. So
yeah, don't do that.
but clearly, Sean likes Hank and Tank. I mean, he keeps continually putting them on TV and trying to put them in positions to do stuff. I think he clearly likes them more personality-wise because he seems to be giving them more he doesn't give them a whole lot of wrestling spots, but he gives them a lot of on time on screen. And I mean, I guess they have some personality. They're not really my cup of tea. So it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Listen to me, Lexus. That was your old life. That's why AEW cut you. So you need to let that go. Your personality, that part of your personality is not gonna make you a star. Let's go this way. Go this way.
I like Hank and Tank more than I like Otis.
Interesting.
That's a hot take.
I feel like their characters aren't that dissimilar, but I can take them more seriously. They're not as to me.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Back to the women. This is a good main event. This is a good main event, and again, it's hard. It's hard to look. Hey, what's going to happen is going to happen. These three shows are not on par with each other just yet, even though they to what WWE did, that was their fault, but it's still developmental. But as a developmental, and these women get in the main event, it didn't suck. And I actually like JC Jane actually did a good job being a part of the group to Fallon Henley to be, help Fallon Henley get the win. So that's actually I actually appreciate this. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, as far as, if you're going to have a faction and you're going to push them as a fairly, big deal, This is what you got to do. I mean, this is what they should do. JC Jane and Jasmine Nix helped Fallon Henley retain the title. That's the whole purpose of having a faction and having people with you, and especially a heel faction. So, and to continue to get over on the faces, by using your cohort. So in that regard, it worked well. Fallon Henley has improved. I think she's
She
gotten
has in the
better.
ring, yeah.
I think she's gotten better in the ring, and I think this match was very solid in the ring until we had the involvement. I mean, which you're gonna get. I rail about it a lot, and I don't necessarily like it. At the same time, at least in this situation, it makes sense to me. I still don't like it, but it makes sense to me when you have a faction, especially a heel faction like that they're gonna do these kind of things. So. And so I think it further fuels the feud between Kalani and Fallon, which I'm enjoying for the most part, and it makes Kalani more sympathetic as a face. So all that stuff, I'm here for all that. I thought that for the first time, really, that I can remember, Fatal Influence was okay for me. I didn't think it was
Yeah.
terrible. I mean, normally I'm very down on them, and I'm not a big fan of them, but I thought this was good for what it was. I mean, I thought it was okay, and I actually thought they did a decent job. Um, yeah, I mean, Fallon Henley with I don't know. I mean, she's getting better. Let's put it that way. This wasn't. This was better than I
Yes.
thought it was going to be. And and when it was over with, even though I still thought maybe you could have potentially switched to two women's matches. That being said, women opening and closing the show is great. And this being a title match, I understand why it was in the
Yeah.
main event spot. I thought it was a solid show. Nothing other than the Ashanti, the Adonis stuff that I thought was like egregious. The wrestling
Right.
was good. I don't understand why Soul beat Cora. I don't have a problem with it. I just don't
Right.
understand why. And if they're going to do what you suggested, which is a last chance opportunity, I hate those last. You either have the one opportunity and you lose or you don't. Why? What's the point of having a next opportunity? Why just have the person advance the first time and stuff? And if you want them both to advance, then don't put them in a match against each other. Put them in matches against people where they're both going to advance against. So, in that regard, I hope that's not what they do. And I'm not a Cora Jade fan anyhow, so her being out of this Iron Survivor Challenge is fine with me. So I thought it was a solid show. Anytime I get to see Julia and Stephanie, I gave Raw a B minus. I think these were on par. I mean, I want to give this a B, but at the same time, Raw was a B minus, and I feel like they were very, very comparable. So I don't know that I can put it above Raw. So I guess I got to give it a B minus too. I mean, I don't, or I got to move Raw up to a B, one or the other. I mean, I don't know.
I'm
I think
trying to remember how it goes. Is it 3 singles matches and then a triple threat match and then a battle royale for the last spot?
Oh, so we
For-
don't know the qualifiers as of right now. It's just a lot of singles matches, and if they do a last chance match, that's usually either a triple threat or a fatal 4-way, and everybody goes to the Survivor
yeah, they definitely
Series.
haven't announced any of that yet.
Yeah.
I definitely remember them doing a battle royale before for the last spot.
Last year, yeah, last time they
Okay.
did this, when they did this last time, that's very possible. I don't remember, but that's highly possible.
And if that's true, I don't mind that. I don't mind at all.
No, depending on who wins. I mean, depending on who wins and who comes out of it, and what the rest of the Iron Survivor Challenge
Or maybe
lineup
I'm
looks like.
thinking of one of the North American ladder matches where the last spot for that was filled in with a battle royale.
Oh man, that's a good question. You're asking a person that can't remember much of what he watches from yesterday, so I
Right.
don't necessarily remember. You two both have way better recollections of stuff that's happened in the past, but I know Anika doesn't necessarily watch NXT. She has more now, but back then, per se, like
I can't help you.
on a regular basis. So
The
Oh,
one
and
I
real
think
quick,
I'm remembering, I think was won by Shotzi.
interesting.
so the Shotzi, that was a Royal Rumble, and I think that was just for the women's a chance to go for the women's World Heavyweight Championship. For lack of a better phrase, the women's NXT Championship. But like real quick, the end of the show, the tag teams actually brawled. It was Thugs for Life. No offense, I don't know your names. It was It was the Tony D family, and it was I think Gallows. They all brought the end of the show.
Right. Yeah, you're
So
right.
that was that was cool. I'm in the same boat as you are, where it's like I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this more with Raw, but that's their advantage of that is they're developmental. So I'm giving them more grace. I'm giving them more grace.
Right.
And hopefully next year, maybe we'll be on. You like we'll stop saying that. Maybe next year they're like, all right, no, these are the lies. These are the lies. We went through this during the when Paul Levesque first had the book in 2022, where it's like, how much time do we give him before we're like, all right, you had enough time. It's this now you're on par with AEW, but
Right.
you know what? You know what? Screw it. I like this more than Raw, so I'm gonna give this a no,
B?
B minus, B minus, B minus, B minus. No, they're both B minuses. They're both B
They're
minuses.
both
No,
all right.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
You get the Sammy. What was your grade for NXT this week?
I'll give it a B minus.
All right, so all three of us gave it a B minus, and me and Anika gave Raw a B minus, and Sammy gave it a C. So, Miss Anika, you ready to take over the reins and talk about this week's AEW Dynamite?
No, I'm
No.
playing.
She said no.
But yes, all right. Now it's on to the main event. AEW Dynamite from last Wednesday. We start off with a wrestling match we haven't done in a minute. Surprise, surprise. We have Hangman and Christian Cage going against the Bang Bang Gang of Jay White and Steve Robinson. I love this. This was a very, these four are in a match. So how bad is it going to be? I love the relationship between Heyman and Christian, where it's like, yeah, we're tagging because we both don't like them. But let's be very, very clear. I
We
don't
don't like each other either.
I don't like you either. And I also love this cute little inclusion of Nick Wayne was trying to do something stupid, and then I'm tired of saying sorry, but but Hook actually just hems him up and just drags him out of the arena. I love that. That was just like, yep. Don't forget, you don't have problems with him. We don't need to harp on it. Let's get old boy and get back to the main event. And so.
I think Juice Blade is a goated tag team. Like, I know that they challenged for the tag titles once, but like, it's kind of crazy that like they've actually never held tag titles.
I'm glad you said that because like even though they're not the mainstay, I do kind of miss the ass boys. I'm like, it can't be the Bang Bang Gang without the ass boys. I'm not sure they're gonna come back. But I do want them to come
Juice
back.
Blade. It's not the Bang Bang Gang without the guns.
But I don't know Juice Blade. I know the Bang Bang Gang. But yeah, so the match continues, and it ends with interference from Kit Sabian earning his paycheck, just walloping Juice Robinson with that freaking contract. This is not even a brief. Like, what is it? It's not a briefcase. It's not a folder. Just like this metal thick container for the contract. But all in all, Hangman and Christian thoughts.
Hangman and Christian is definitely a weird pairing. I mean, it's very odd. At the same time, I thought this was fine. I thought this was good. Kip, earning his money. Anytime Christian's on my screen, I'm happy. So, I didn't have any problems with this. Hook came out and got involved as he should. That's where the story is for him at the moment. So, no, I mean, I have a feeling that we're going to see Hook maybe join the patriarchy, which I'm not necessarily opposed to. I don't know that that's what's going to happen, but it feels like that might be coming down the pipe, which I'm not opposed to.
Right.
No, I thought this was good. And like you said, it's nice to open the show with a match instead of just somebody in the ring talking. Not that those don't come off fine, but at the same time, it is nice to open.
Right.
A little different.
And it's crazy that before Christian's promo of last week, I was through with everybody. I'm like, I don't. Why is Kip on my freaking TV? Why Christian Cage has a freaking contract? Why is Hook a part of this? Why is this a thing? And then Christian cuts the promo. Okay, I'm here. It's literally like, okay, I'm interested now.
Yeah.
Sammy, any
Yep.
thoughts?
Oh,
Sammy, are
he
you
might
there?
have. Right. He might have stepped away for a minute.
All right, it's fine. All
All
right.
right.
So next we have a backstage promo. Mercedes Monet entering the building with Camille and Renee. I feel so bad for Renee. She's like, I know this is my job, but I'm pretty sure we have another interviewer for the Cuckoos. So can we please have another interview for this? But no, so she asked the fatal question of what does Monet think about her fatal attempt of basically trying to unalive Chris Statlander by running her over the car? She's like, I wasn't trying to hit her. My Camille, she cannot drive. That's what happened. It's like, oh
Right.
my gosh, you dropped my coat. You're so dumb. Go there. Go. And so, and then while they're having this promo interview, you just have Statlander like a freaking Terminator behind Mercedes, and she get that lick back. So she brawls with Mercedes Monet. She brawls with Camille. It seems like the 2-on-1, but not really because Statlander put them through a wall. And so, dang, I'm like, dang, got it. Now look, we've been having a whole lot of people going through Raw segments, and I think we should lay off of them, especially when we know the wall ain't like no offense, this wall ain't a wall. It's paper. It's paper, so it's not. It won't have that effect if we just doing it more than usual. You know what I'm saying? But
Is it not like plasterboard?
it's very thick. Like okay, paper might be a stretch, but plasterboard, okay, sure. Like the wall is very. These walls are very easily breakable. Let's just say that. I'm not sure how the building is standing up from these walls. Let's just say that. Okay, how about that? But
I mean, if a wall doesn't have like structural like beams in it, like I can easily just kick a hole through a wall.
Yeah, drywall's not very thick. I mean, depending on where they have them going, potentially I could see that it's. But yeah, I mean, they're doing a lot of wall spots, and that I don't. It is what it is. I mean, my thing is that I do worry sometimes about what kind of responsibility. I mean, I mentioned it before. I watched wrestling a couple times with my 3.5-year-old grandson, and as soon as it's on and they're fighting, he wants to fight with me, and he wants to imitate what they're doing, and I think that's
yes,
normal. And so when you do stuff like putting people through walls, I wonder about little kids in the backyard or in the house trying to put their brothers through and friends through walls. So at the same time, it is what it is. I mean, this is nothing new for wrestling. I mean, that's a conversation that's been going on
yeah,
since I've been a little kid. So, and people are gonna backyard wrestle and wrestle in the house no matter what. I think to a certain extent. So, it is what it is. I mean, I think that they have a responsibility. I don't know that just saying don't do this at home adequately meets that responsibility, but I guess at least it's something. So I don't know. That being said, wow, they're sure making Chris Statlander look very, very overpowered. Like Camille is supposed to be like a big deal, and she, Statlander is regularly kind of not throwing Camille around, but definitely getting the upper hand and looking more powerful. And this week she beat up both Camille and Mercedes, and I'm not that I'm opposed to that. I mean, they have to do something to make Stat look like a real viable candidate for the Mercedes championship. And at this point, I mean, for all intents and purposes, she's looked like the aggressor and like the one that would win this match. I'm sure Mercedes is going to. Um, but that being said, man, how long can Camille just take being berated by
right.
by
So
Mercedes? Like, I mean, in the
yeah,
beginning it wasn't terrible, but every week it's getting more and more. Like, she's getting tougher and tougher and meaner and meaner. Like, this week was brutal. Like, Camille can't drive. I told you how to drive. Get out of the fucking car, basically. I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, whoa, holy smokes. You're putting a lot on a woman that's bigger than you and in theory could, like, maybe bend you in half real quick. Like, I don't know. Like, so.
Most people are comparing it to MJF and Wardlow, and I see that. I see that. I don't
Yeah,
think that
yeah,
I don't think they're breaking up so soon though. I think it's like he's
right.
just being a mean boss,
Yeah, no, I agree.
and that's a heel
I just
thing,
wonder
right?
how long Camille's going to take it. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, understandable. How do y'all feel about this build up? Because it's insane. I know, I love Statlander. I know, I love Mercedes Monet, and this just isn't clicking on all cylinders. I don't know. And I think they're both. That's why we're having wall spots and Statlander being dominant. They're trying to get to that third gear, and it's like, how do we? It shouldn't be this hard. You know what I'm saying? I love both these women. I know both these women can go. They're both they're entertaining to me. So why is this not clicking? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily have that feel, but I mean, I can kind of see that a little. I mean, I like Mercedes. They haven't booked her as, I don't feel like they've booked her as strong in the ring as they could have yet. I
Yeah.
feel like she was much stronger in the ring as Sasha Banks in WWE. I feel like WWE leans a lot, or equally, if not more, on her wrestling ability than on her talking and persona and personality, where it feels like Tony Khan is laying very heavily on her just kind of talking and her persona. That's like 80% of what she's done to me, and since being in AEW, it feels like.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, she's not bad at that, but I'm not sure that that's where she really thrives for me. I think her best. I think for me, she's best when she's in the ring doing what she does because she's a really good wrestler. And I think you got to put the emphasis on that. Not that she doesn't have great personality, not that she isn't a great talker, but sometimes that doesn't just isn't enough. And I think that might be part of it. We haven't really seen enough of her in AEW yet to feel like, oh yeah, At the same time, we do know her, and we know it's going to be a good match. So I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily feel the disconnect with the two of them in this feud. I feel a little underwhelmed by Mercedes and AEW in general so far.
Yeah, unfortunately. Sammy, any thoughts?
Solid. Like I'm enjoying what I'm seeing.
All right. So next up, we have this. It was a lot of segments in one cluster, to say the least. I'm not sure if I like it or hate it, but let's go. All right. So we have an in-ring interview promo with Will. My Will Ospreay is back. I missed you, boo boo. And so he's like, "Hey, let's cut to the chase. Kyle Fletcher, get your behind to the ring." And so Kyle Fletcher comes out. He was like, "See, unlike to prove that we're different, unlike you, when I called you out and you didn't come, you called me out, and here I am. I don't like you talking." So annoying. Anyway, so yeah, so they're like, "Let's hash this out, cause bruh, what happened? We used to be boys." Like this is their first. This is the first time they're talking to each other after Fletcher turned on him with the screwdriver back at what was it? All Out.
Yeah,
All
I
Out.
think it was
Yeah,
All Out. Yeah.
yeah, All Out. And so he was like, "Sir, you don't even know what you did to me. The Tiger. No, sorry, Tiger Driver. Like my left arm went numb. My freaking son was touching me while we were watching TV. I couldn't freaking feel it. You crap. You dope." And it's like and like, okay, not sure what all he said. I just pinpointing the highlights. It's like,
Right.
and now you just come out here, talk about you're nothing like, turn your head, you're nothing like me, but then you turn your back, but then you do the same thing, but then you say that I turned on Okada, I own up to that, but you turned on me. So what are you? What are you? Are you nothing like me, or are you an Osprey clone? Pick a lane. I'm like, come on, I love you, bro. And so I love you, bro. And so Puffer just like, I'm nothing like you. And look, we can score up, we can do this. But of course, it's Don Callis family. So here comes the new additions, Lance Archer and Brian Cage. And Archer was like, look, I wasn't at these Don Callis meetings. I got backup of my own, which was I don't want to disrespect him. What's the name of his former partner that was in Aussie Open?
Mark Davis.
Mark Davis and Powerhouse. Side note, Osprey with Mark Davis and Powerhouse. I'm not mad at it. I like it. I like what I see. And so And then, so to conclude this segment, he's like, all right, are we just going to, he said a bad word, but the gist of it is, are we going to keep talking or are we going to fight? And the fight breaks out. And I love all of this. It goes into the crowd. And I'm gonna stop right here. Like I said, it muddled into other stuff. It muddled to another segment. But what do you think about this segment right here?
I liked it. I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it. I enjoy it. I like the new additions to the Callis family, and
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here for all this. I thought it was fun. I'm happy to see Mark Davis back.
Yeah.
Um, and Powerhouse Hobbs. I mean, I'm not as hot on Hobbs as I am on Davis. I was a huge Aussie Open fan, so I'm curious to see how this ends up playing out. I'm definitely kind of here for Fletcher versus Davis. I'm here for obviously Fletcher versus Osprey's amazing. Or Fletcher versus Osprey 2 will be amazing since we've already seen it the one time. Um,
Yeah.
it will be amazing. So no, I mean, I'm here for all this. I like all these guys, and getting to see them on TV, I'm happy. So.
It's crazy because I think we were all waiting for the eventual reuniting of United Empire. It doesn't seem like we're getting that. Um, to gesture off, do you want Mark Davis? Cause like, even though he's clearly with Osprey, I think they left a little bit more room to make it. So maybe he'll pick Kyle Fletcher. Maybe. What would you prefer him do?
I mean, I don't necessarily want to see Ozzy Open with the Callis family. I'd rather see Fletcher get away from the Callis family myself.
Mm.
I'd rather see Mark Davis be able to talk Kyle Fletcher into coming back to the United Empire or whatever, him and Osprey. That would be my hope. But I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. I don't know that we'll see United Empire like we saw it before again. I'd be surprised if we get it that way. And I don't know that we necessarily need that. But I would like Aussie Open back. And that's nothing against Kyle Fletcher or Mark Davis. I think Kyle Fletcher's done a great job with Mark Davis gone, making himself a very, very solid singles wrestler. He's had incredible matches. Um, I just like Aussie Open a lot. So, and I think even though there's a ton of them, I feel like the tag team division is where we need more life and more action. So for
Yeah.
me, Aussie Open being in the tag team division. At the same time, if you're not going to care about the tag team division and it means Kyle Fletcher going away, then that I'm not for either. So I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I don't know exactly how I feel.
Sammy, any thoughts?
Mark Davis is great. I love having him back on my TV.
Enough said. No, I do agree, and I do love that he's in this position. I do. All right. So like I said, this kind of muddled into it. Like so. So we have Osprey, Mark Davis, and Hobbs going against the Don Callis family, which includes Lance Archer. They're scrumbling. I don't even know. Like maybe I wasn't paying attention. I didn't even hear commentary say when anything happened. But Roderick Strong comes out because they are having a match, and if Roderick wins this match, he's either one step closer to going against MJF, or this is his final thing to go against MJF. So
It was his final match. It was the
it's his
third
final
match.
match.
Yeah,
So he wins this, he gets MJF at Full Gear. I don't
correct.
even think they went back to the ring. Roger just joined the party, and they're
They
like,
did.
"Well, it is false count anywhere." Ding, ding, ding.
Yep,
And they
everyone's
just
here. Let's get to it. Yep.
let's just fight. And that's why I was so confused. I'm like, hold up, when did he come out? It's a match. Oh, all right, it's a match. And so it went less than 10 minutes. For me, even though it was only for 10 minutes, I actually did enjoy them going against each other. Uh, Roderick Strong gets the win. Again, like I said, this is no one really announced anything unless I was missing it. But Roderick Strong beats Lance Archer. It's going to definitely be Roderick Strong versus MJF at Full Gear. Any thoughts?
At the time, in a vacuum at the time, this was kind of odd. Roderick Strong got the win over Lance Archer, and I know it wasn't clean. Lance Archer came out, but I mean, Lance Archer's a big, mean monster, and I don't necessarily see him taking too many losses, especially to Roderick Strong. At the same time, I understand why Roderick Strong gets the win here. What it made sense at the time. Later, and we'll get to it later, it doesn't quite make as much sense to me. So I'm not sure. We'll talk about that after the Adam Cole match that we talk about later. But right here, it was like, okay, this is fine. I mean, they're gonna have a triple threat, and it'll be fine.
And so like yeah, like you said, I'm not. I'm kind of hoping that it'll be a triple threat because if it is just Roderick and MJF, that's kind of like, huh? Like, no offense to Roderick Strong, but the main event is like let's just do the MJF and Adam Cole match. But I do love Roderick Strong, so I am even though there's a discrepancy of how big Lance Archer is and Roderick Strong is, the false count anywhere-ness of it all made
Levels it
this
out.
more believable. It made it more
Yeah.
believable. So yeah,
Like,
all right.
Lance Archer is the complete package, is he not?
Look, we're not gonna do this because I was a Lance Archer fan when AEW first started. Everybody dies. Jake Roberts kind of trying to control him, but he can't. I loved everything about him, and it feels like they never quite pulled the trigger fully. And no offense to AEW, but you can say that a lot about them with big men. Like our favorites, they really never pulled the trigger. Keith Lee, Lance Archer. They kind of tried with Warlow. Warlow is a very tricky subject to break down and figure out. But yeah, so like that's kind of why the whole meat chance kind of came about because it's like, hold up, yeah, like AEW is more fitted towards wrestlers who are a little slender. So that's why I think that's probably why the meat chance started. But
Roddy
yeah,
is a better promo. He's also more technical. He might have a bit more stamina. But like everything else, Lance Archer is better than him at.
yeah, and like if this is a match to see who go gets MJF. Roddy I just have to beat Archer to get to MJF. So, but in that aspect, yeah, I still somewhat have a little bit of hope that they'll do something with Lance Archer. Like there's it's like he's good enough to have something, you know. He's good enough to give him something, even if it is a tag team titles with Brian Cage.
You know, wrestling is such a weird thing when it really boils down to it in some regards because you want aesthetically pleasing to the eye in some regards when it comes to fighting, and wrestling has been the bigger, stronger, you know, very well built guys, the guys that look like, oh my God, these guys look like they're gladiators, right? And
Right.
so, and yet when you're doing something that isn't truly full contact and is um not fake, but mitigated in sometimes what you're doing as far as, you know, the power you're putting in I think it becomes very hard for guys that are big and strong to control that. And I think in certain times it looks odd. So we want these guys, like we have this vision of the wrestlers that should be the big wrestler guys and should be, you know, the people that are, you know, the faces of wrestling. And at the same time, I think it's hard when you consider what wrestling is actually doing in a sports entertainment context for some of these bigger guys to really lay back and not hurt these guys, not do stuff that's actually whatever. And so it's interesting. I think they have I think it's more of a uphill battle for bigger guys to a certain extent when it comes to in-ring work than it is for smaller, more athletic guys. And I think smaller, more athletic guys have a little bit harder uphill battle when it comes to outside of the ring and not the athletic stuff to prove that they deserve to be there, that they can look and act the part like the bigger guys can. So it's a weird dynamic. I don't think Lance Archer is the perfect package. I don't think Lance Archer has some flaws for me. He's not, I think he needs somebody. He's not a bad talker. I think he's better when he has somebody talking for him. Um, and I think he's better when he's just a big quiet monster. And I like him better when he comes in and just is a monster and allowed to just kind of squash people. Like, I don't think he's He's good in New Japan where they have a very strong style of wrestling,
Yes.
and he can get away with the no selling. In the States, I don't think it goes over quite as well, and he's still in that mode a lot of times. And
He's also very athletic.
I don't think he's a great seller. He's very athletic for a big guy, but I don't think he's necessarily the world's greatest seller, which worked really good in Japan where you can do the strong style. But here, I think it falls a little short. So I don't know. I mean, it was not a surprise for me that Roderick Strong won. I still am not a huge fan of the bigger guy losing to the littler guy. Obviously, falls count anywhere, people involved, all those kind of things make level those playing fields all the time. So, it is what it is.
Solid promo. Like there were several moments where like him and Jake Roberts would basically do like a 70-30. Jake would do 70, he'd do 30.
Yeah.
But a lot of times his 30 felt more impactful and better than what Jake Roberts was doing. And Jake Roberts is an all-time promo. And
I mean, I'd have to go back and watch those to make a judgment call on that. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know. He's not a bad talker. I just don't think that's his sweet spot. I mean,
I love Jake and Lance Archer together. I felt like he should have won the TNT title when they were together, or that because I don't think they were together when the international title happened. But yeah, he definitely should have won the TNT title at least once.
I think he's one half of what I would consider to be the best tag team you could make.
Which is what?
Lance Archer and the Archer of Infamy.
You think Damian Priest and Lance Archer could be the greatest tag team ever?
Possibly. I mean, they're a little old now. Like if we can turn back time 5 years.
Turn back time. Okay.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, but again, this is all subjective, right? And it's all what you like, and I mean, when I think of, for me personally, I like Damian Priest and I like Lance Archer, but I don't want to see them versus the Lucha Bros or versus Young Bucks or versus Motor City Machine Guns. That doesn't move the needle for me at all.
I think that those two dudes are very like complementary dudes to each other. Like,
I could see that too. When you're comparing them to, the best ever to do this, I mean, FTR, I don't want to see those matches. I mean, I don't think those matches, for me, those matches don't hold any interest. I mean, those tag teams are on a whole different level than I think those Archer and Damian Priest would be. I don't think they would be bad. I just don't know that they would ever rise to that level for me. But that's a personal thing.
Yeah. But yeah, Roddy wins. And, but Lance Archer is now part of the Don Callis family. So that means that Takeshita needs to avenge his brother. He comes out and just start laying in to Roddy Strong. But Roddy Strong has a best friend in Adam Cole. You know what's all about that boo. So Adam Cole comes in to run to get Takeshita off of Roddy Strong. He puts the boots to Takeshita while his theme is still playing. Takeshita rolls out. And so on par, that break just so happens when it's time for the boo, and then like, oh, Adam Cole, look, I am a music person. I love a good soundtrack to a fight, so I love that. I love that this is the start of Takeshita versus Adam Cole, and so this match starts, and yeah. Yes, please. Adam Cole versus Takeshita. Why the freak not? And then Adam Cole wins. He gets MJF a triple threat. But we already know that MJF paid Don Callis to help out this little situation. They had great chemistry. I love this. I was very entertained by this match. Bridgeport sucks. This freaking crowd sucks. I like what the like in the words of comedian. These are the jokes, people. Like, this is the wrestling, people. I don't understand this was so good, and y'all are not giving me what I needed for this match. But like I say, all in all, I love this. If y'all want to run this back, this is what we have to see too. Because if you want to run this back, I'm here for it. But it concludes.
But just explain to me why Adam Cole takes the loss. I understand Takeshita has help, and he's paid by MJF, but I still explain to me why they still actually do it that Adam Cole takes the loss.
So real quick, he just lost by help of the diamond ring. Takeshita had it underneath the ropes, underneath the ring, underneath the ring apron. He gets it. He hits Adam Cole, and 1, 2, 3. Um, so I'm on a couple of minds about this ending. I don't want Takeshita to lose, and they had him lose last week. So it's like, whoa, you're gonna. I think we all assumed, whoa, you're gonna make him lose twice. They did, so I can't be mad at them for actually keeping Takeshita strong. They did, and it actually falls suit in with what you call it, that the down cows. We're talking about this in WWE, where your heels are not credible if they keep losing. So on the other end, I do like the Don Callis family actually coming through for MJF. I do like that. Now on the other side, we talked about this earlier. Is it so? The deal is Adam Cole has to win 3 straight matches. That he can still do that before Full Gear, but as of right now, he has to go back to square one.
Oh, is that true?
I want to say that's the deal. Where I want to say that's the deal. Well, yeah. It's not that. It's not that.
I thought it was over.
I have to double check.
Full Gear is next Saturday. Like, you have 1 week.
It is?
Is it?
Oh,
yes,
shoot.
It's next Saturday, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's next Saturday.
So yeah, to that, but to that credit, I'm while y'all pontificate, I'm gonna find a promo to double check the rules. But I think he can still do 3 matches to get to MJF. I'm gonna double check. If that's true, then you lean towards more of the whole intrigue of, oh, will they not do a triple threat? In my mind, you have to, right? Because look, in the ring, Roderick Strong versus MJF is going to be a banger. It is. But for a pay-per-view, you have not positioned Roderick Strong in a position where MJF versus Roderick Strong is going to sell you tickets. So in my mind, even though it's only a week from now, maybe Collision, Rampage, and AEW and Dynamite, Adam Cole gets his wins back. But to answer your question why they did this, I like that Takeshita is kept strong. I like that Don Callis family is kept strong. I don't know. I want to flip the script. I would have had this be Takeshita, even though it's the weaker of the both. It probably still been great. I would probably had Roddy versus Takeshita, and Roddy hits and Takeshita hits Roddy with the diamond ring, even though MJF probably doesn't feel as threatened by Roddy that he does with Adam Cole.
Right.
It's a very to sum up without rambling on, it might be just for the drama. Cause I real life don't see them doing just MJF versus Roderick Strong. That's just me. But any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm torn. I mean, I do think that's ultimately what it feels like they're doing. It feels like they're not ready to pull the trigger on Adam Cole versus MJF yet, and as a result, it's either going to be a triple threat or not anything. And so now it sounds like it's not going to be anything, and we're just going to get Roddy versus MJF, which is going to be a very good match. Between the ropes, both guys can really, really go, and it should be fun. But you're right. I mean, for a pay-per-view, it's not selling seats, in my opinion, and it's not really moving the needle as far as, oh my God, I got to show up to watch Roderick Strong versus MJF. I don't know why they're pushing Adam Cole off, or it feels like they're pushing Adam Cole off. I suppose if he could still win 3 matches in the next 56 hours before Full Gear, or 92 hours before Full Gear, I guess it is what it is. I didn't get that impression. I thought it sounded like it was kind of over for him. And I feel like for whatever reason, either they're waiting for him, maybe because he's fresh back from injury and waiting to get his legs kind of still underneath him or whatever. They need to give him a little more time to whatever before he's ready to have that match. I don't know, but it feels like they're pushing that off. And in the meantime, we're going to get MJF beating Roderick Strong, which I guess is what it is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I thought this was weird. It made sense to me, even though I always have an issue with big men beating or little men beating big men. It made sense to me why Roderick Strong won earlier. Because we were going to do a triple threat. It was going to be a 2-on-1. Roderick Strong and MJF, or Roderick Strong and Adam Cole essentially were going to beat up on MJF, and it was going to be fun to watch. then MJF or Adam Cole loses, and it's like MJF, or it feels like Adam Cole is out of the match, and now I don't really have that much interest in MJF and Roderick Strong, and who knows when we're going to get Adam Cole and MJF. So I went from it making a lot of sense and being excited at the end of the Roderick Strong match to like, I'm not sure what's going on, and this doesn't really make any sense to me by the end of the Adam Cole match. So.
Sammy, any thoughts?
I really need a pee.
All right then.
I mean, you're off camera. You could have done it. You could have done it by now. Anything before you pee.
I'll be back.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, Takeshita wins. He gears up to take out Adam Cole with the diamond ring again. Roddy tries to help, but nope. That diamond ring still in his possession. And here comes Mr. Cal O'Reilly in for the save of the chair. And it's like, oh, wait. Undisputed? Okay. I'm not mad at that. But so he runs to catch it off. And Adam Cole and Roddy tries to extend his hand. He doesn't take it. He just looks at him and just get out of the ring. While this is happening, Takeshita is at the top of the ramp posing with the international title. Ricochet comes in and freaking gives him a kick up to the face while in his dress shoes. Bet. Can't really see that match gonna be fun. And so that's the conclusion of this whole segment. We feel it was one very, very big segment. How do you feel about the possibility of Undisputed Kingdom? Sorry. Undisputed Era getting out together in the sense of O'Reilly befriending Adam Cole and Roderick Strong? And how do you feel about Takeshita versus Ricochet? I cannot hear you. Nope, I can't. Not yet. All right. While you're getting situated, I'll pontificate this a little bit more. For me, again, whatever Takeshita can do is going to entertain me. Point blank. Period. I truly am going to be entertained by Ricochet versus Takeshita. I don't think Ricochet should win. Takeshita should win all of the way. That is just my opinion, but they better do it. People are asking, do we want Undisputed Era to rejoin? Here's my thoughts. On one hand, leave the memories alone. Don't change a thing. On the other hand, we have this group called the Hurt Syndicate who tried.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, you're
right. All right.
I'm saying real quick, I'm done. On the other hand, we have Hurt Syndicate trying to recapture the magic of Hurt Business, and they're doing it. More so with Undisputed Era, you can't half-ass it. If we're going to do it, full force, go strong, let them actually put effort into them being a group again. Thoughts?
The pacing on this was interesting. I mean, it definitely was like bang, bang, bang. They had a bunch of things kind of running into each other, which was okay. I mean, I didn't necessarily mind it. It kind of felt like kind of one long car crash in a good way. But when it was all said and done, I'm here for Takeshita and Ricochet. I think that should be fun. As an Undisputed Era fan, my heart got a little happy when Kyle O'Reilly came down and the three of them were in the ring, O'Reilly and Cole and Roderick Strong. At the same time, I like the conglomeration, and I'm not necessarily I'm not here for just regurgitating what WWE has done. I mean, I'm not interested in. And so even though they work great together and I love the Undisputed Era, it was what it was at the time and place that it was at. And I don't need to see AEW try to do it again. Just like I'm not into it and I'm not disappointed, but I would say that the Hurt Syndicate doesn't carry as much for me as it would if it was something completely new and original. And I don't know what that means, but I think for me it loses a little bit of luster because I feel like it's kind of a cheap copy of what they did in WWE. I'm not saying it won't be better. I'm not saying that it's not as good or any of that. I'm just saying it feels like a copycat, and I feel like you gotta make your own lane. And so, yeah, I mean, as much as it's great to see those guys again together in the ring, I don't need to see Undisputed Era back together in AEW. Especially not if Bobby Fish isn't around either. So
Yeah,
True.
yeah. If you're gonna do it, we need. I miss. Like, where is he? I don't think he's hurt. I know the whole TNA run didn't go like as he planned, but you put them out together. Like I said, if you don't half-ass it,
I mean,
there's a space for
he
undisputed.
old. He old. Like,
he is getting, yeah, I mean, he is on the older side for sure.
like
And,
he's only 50 now.
Bobby Fish is always, his biggest moments have been with Kyle O'Reilly as Red Dragon, right? And that's, I mean, whether it was as part of Undisputed Era or not, anytime he's been away from Kyle O'Reilly, he really has not what I would call shined, which is interesting because I really like him, but he hasn't really shined, even in the independents. I mean, he's done decent stuff, but never like, oh my God, look at what Bobby Fish is doing. Like he had, especially when he left AEW this last time, he had a couple matches right away. And then and to be fair, I don't watch a ton of independent wrestling, but like I haven't seen him in a minute on the independent scene either. So
The
I,
last time he
again,
was in MLW was mid-September.
like Sammy says, he is getting older, those kind of things. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like his sweet spot has always been with Kyle O'Reilly and Red Dragon, and I would love to see them back. But the division doesn't do much. The tag team division isn't doing much anyhow, so they'll probably just sit there anyhow. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, he's what, 2 years younger than Christian Cage? Like,
Oh wow, that's
and
interesting.
he's like not the level of star that Christian Cage is.
Yeah, no, he definitely should be by himself. He should definitely be with a team. Bobby Fish.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like at this point, like any team he's a part of, isn't he kind of bringing that team down?
No, I wouldn't say that. Like
I mean,
honestly,
depending.
real quick,
Go ahead.
before he go by himself, I love him, Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly together. I want to say it was they were yeah, I want to say it was them three, and they were going against somebody, and it was and it was Bobby Fish just saying stuff, talking about who are you now? Are you a wrestler or Undertaker? I think he does great with a team. I don't think he's going to bring any team down if he joins a team.
I mean, it just depends on how they use him and book him and that kind of stuff. I think, like I said, I think he thrives best when he's in the tag team with Kyle O'Reilly, and he's definitely not. When you have those four guys in the ring, unfortunately, there is a bit of a hierarchy, and he's probably at the bottom end of the hierarchy. So,
How are you going to use a dude who's pushing 50 though?
well, I mean, you got Jericho on your screen every week at almost 60. Bobby Fish is in at least equally as good condition as Chris Jericho, if not better. He looks younger than Chris Jericho.
Well,
I
he
mean,
is
I
three
don't,
years younger.
I don't, so I mean, they have other guys that are still out there doing it at that age too. So I mean, I don't, I don't. Again, he's been around for a long time and been
But
wrestling for a
we
long
all
time. But
agree Jericho shouldn't be getting pushed.
yeah,
So
one hundred
No,
we
percent.
can't
we all
go
agree
around and
Jericho needs a
say that
break.
Bobby needs a push.
I'm not saying necessarily push Bobby, but he could be a member of a faction still, or at least a member of Red Dragon, and they could have some good matches. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily push him. I don't know. Red Dragon needs to be tag team champions at this point, or that. But I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Red Dragon versus the Young Bucks again. I mean, that would be fun. I mean, I don't. Or some other tag teams that they have in AEW. Especially if Bobby Fish is doing nothing, I still think he's good enough to still, wrestle if he wants to. I
Like
mean,
if any 48-year-old named Bobby is getting pushed, it better be Bobby Lashley.
yeah.
All right, so next up, speaking of Bobby Lashley, we have a Hurt Syndicate promo where Renee is trying to do her job, but the MVP is MVP. He's like, I'm gonna do a better job than you. Give me this. So he's like, Bobby Lashley, how does it feel to know that you're going to single-handedly ruin the career of Swerve at Full Gear? It's just like, hey, we told him. Either you join us or you get stepped on. That's what we do. And so that's basically the promo in a nutshell. Um, I love a motivated MVP. A motivated MVP is in his bag. Again, I love how her syndicate looks. Now it's all up to the match between Swerve and Bobby Lashley at Full Gear. Any thoughts?
I mean, I I personally would rather see Shelton Benjamin and Swerve. I'm a bigger fan of the way Shelton Benjamin wrestles than I am of Bobby Lashley. And I think that Shelton Benjamin and Swerve, it feels like a better match chemistry wise. Lots of people, and I know a couple on this show, are huge on Bobby Lashley. I'm so. I mean, I think he's fine. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think that he's like the end all or be all. I mean, I don't know that he's the kind of guy that can carry a company. I think he has some issues. Swerve versus Lashley should be what it is, but me personally, I'd rather be seeing Shelton Benjamin versus Swerve. But that's just me personally. Sammy Joe should be the Bobby Lashley advocate here. He always is. So.
Yeah, the first ESC World Champion, like Bobby freaking Lashley, dude is a monster. He is a beast, not just in wrestling, but also in stuff like boxing and MMA. He dominated everything he did. Isn't that what they called him in TNA, the Dominator?
Yeah, this is true.
Like the only reason that dude went back to WWE was so he could face off against Brock Lesnar, and he had to stick around for 6 years before it finally happened.
Like all in all, it like when he was WWE, for me, he was still good in the ring. He was still entertaining. Even though it's only not even a year, maybe 6 months since he's actually wrestled in WWE because he was hurt. Whatever. No, WrestleMania, April, May, June, July, October. Yeah, 7 months since we actually saw him in the ring. I don't have any. I have all. What you call it? I have all faith that him and Swerve are going to deliver at Full Gear, but you never know until it happens. All right, and so next up. No, sorry, thank God. Before craziness happened, my notes said learning tree. I'm like, boo. No, it was a Moxley promo. Now, it was a Moxley promo, but TBS have to be so freaking extra. They're gonna announce it as John Moxley takes over Superstation. Number one, you haven't called Superstation in how freaking long? So why are y'all saying that now? I don't even think the kids know. When you said this, I'm like, what the frick is a Superstation? It was like that was it was TBS. Don't really know what they're doing. But it was like, but no, this is what Moxley's been doing for the past month. Which is basically, I'm going to sacrifice somebody from the back, and I'm going to speak my rhetoric until someone does something about it. That's what happened. So unfortunately, this week, the sacrificial lamb was JD Drake. They bring him out. Yuta has a chair. They hit him with a chair. Poor JD Drake. And it's basically, and then Moxley, pontificates just a little bit. He's like, hey, because of you, OC, your boy Chuck is eating through a straw. You really don't want this. I keep telling y'all I don't want to do this, but I have to do this. At Full Gear, you're gonna be sacrificial lamb, basically. And then OC comes out with Mark Briscoe and Rocky Romero. I'm not sure why, but the absence of Kyle O'Reilly makes this team a little bit more credible. I don't know. The OC, Mark Briscoe, Rocky Romero with Darby, they look more of a credible threat. I love Kyle O'Reilly, I do, but I just like the presence of OC with Mark Romero and Mark Briscoe looks better. That's just me. Anyway, but so OC. And also John Moxley was like, because I'm the AEW, World Heavyweight Champion, I have the power. and the card's in my hand. I'm gonna flip this thing. I'm gonna flip AEW upside down. OC comes out. He's like, yeah, you're right. I completely agree with you. As long as you're the AEW World Champion, you have all the cards. But that's why Full Gear, I'm going to beat you and take the power back. Now I know this is chess. I got to get rid of some pawns, and so the next pawn I get rid of is Yuta, and he's like, when in doubt, you're beating people up, but this is still wrestling. So in a match, I'm going to out wrestle you. I am going to win because I already did it last year at All Out. Yeah, I like that look of nothing. And then he's like, and so next week I remove a pawn and out wrestle Yuta to get closer to you. And then so Yuta's like, I'm nobody's pawn. I'm nobody's pawn. And Clyde's like, shut up. Okay. Like,
Right.
like you're being so disrespectful. You're being so disrespectful. And so OC and so Moxley was like, all right, that's what you think. But I'm gonna tell you right here, right now, at Full Gear, is these two words are gonna ring true. Abandon all hope. So he comes out and so I'm gonna stop right here. What do y'all think about this segment? Again, Bridgeport freaking stop! I'm like, y'all not reacting to anything. Dad, come on. Why did y'all buy this ticket? Y'all don't want to watch the show. But that's just me. But what are y'all thoughts about this segment?
I didn't notice the. Go ahead, Timmy. Go ahead. Go first.
My sister had came over while I was watching this, and she was very surprised when I told her that Orange Cassidy is 40.
He looks good.
Yeah.
He's 38, but he looks good.
40, I believe.
No, he's 38. He's not 40 yet.
40, I believe.
I was all right, because you get on my nerves sometimes. All right, come on here.
Orange Cassidy, 40 years old. Yep.
Orange. Continue, AEW, or you do this.
I was gonna say, I lost.
Moxley's 38. Maybe that's what you're thinking.
I lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? Geez,
probably. But yeah, all right. Sorry, bring you up. The promo segment, OC and Moxley.
No, I mean, it's Moxley's in his bag. I mean, Blackpool Combat Club is great at the moment. Beating up somebody. I don't like to see JD Drake, who I like, be sacrificed, but JD Drake is, at least he's on the TV, I suppose, in some capacity. It's been a while since I've seen him wrestle, so, and, obviously, OC coming out, and they're, it is what it is. I mean, I'm here for all of it. We'll ultimately see what ends up happening. But yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest OC fan, but I love Moxley, and I like Blackpool Combat Club. I think the way I love the contrast with Yuta saying I'm nobody's pawn, and then Claudio telling him to shut up, and Yuta saying yes. Like you said, it's that contrast there is fun. It's obviously only a matter of time until Yuta gets tired of being treated like that. We'll see what that ends up looking like down the road. But no, I thought this was fun for the most part. I mean,
yeah. Yep. So okay. So let's continue the promo. Or Sammy, do you have any thoughts? Any more thoughts?
Masterclass work. Like, as ALW said, he's in his bag, and like this could be the lead up to Mox becoming the all-time GOAT.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So after this, Moxley exits the arena, and of course, like, I need y'all to look up more. It feels like every week this fool is gonna dive off of something. They're almost to the exit point of the center arena, and here comes Darby flying off the freaking crowd and starts brawling. And so he gets to a brawl. Maria Shafir, she uses a briefcase to take some people out. OC, Mark Briscoe, and Rocky Romero joins the fight, and so it's a whole thing. Now, as it looks as though Marina gets John Moxley out of Dodge. They go to the car. So let me be very clear: it's John Moxley, Claudio, the Bastard Pack, They're all in Marina. They all made it out safely. They're in the car. They are about to leave without Mother Yuta. And but Darby is the little Cheshire cat is fast as hell. He jumps into this might be my favorite segment of the night. He jumps into the back of the truck. And evidently I guess Moxie either volunteers or Claudio volunteered himself. He was like, "Get rid of this fool." So Claudio comes out. Claudio and Darby are fighting against each other. Claudio's like, "All right, that's it." He runs full speed and and basically, what you call it? Pins Darby into the back of the lift. What do you call it? The garage door. Yeah, we'll call it the garage door. The garage door, and then does the swing and swings Darby into the freaking garage door and heads back to the truck. And thankfully, this gives Yuta enough time to escape. Y'all freaking forgot about him. And so the Yuta comes in, he hits the car, and then they drive off. And then Darby, who Lord, boy, are you taking something before it happens? He gets back up and just says, "I'm still standing, Claudio. I'm still standing. Where are you going?" And we find out that we're getting Claudio versus Darby next week. Two things. Claudio is my dude. He's my dude. I love him when he's like this. Let him be strong and take out people. I want him to. If it's not a match, I don't want him to talk. I want him to freaking do. Next week, Darby versus Claudio is going to be a banger. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I liked all this. I thought this was very good. I mean, obviously, like I said before, Moxley's in his bag, and BCC is thriving at the moment. I'm happy to see, that AEW, what Claudio's been able to do since coming to AEW. I feel like there was nothing wrong with Cesaro or his career in WWE. I mean, they were fine. I mean, Sheamus the Bar was great, and he did some things, but I feel like he's really hit his stride since he's come to AEW. And I like that. And I like that Tony, I think, appreciates the value that Claudio brings more than WWE did. And as a
Yes.
result, they give him more. So I like that. Claudio is that dude for sure. Um, and so I'm here for all of that. I love the stuff with Yuta, as far as potentially leaving him. It's perfect for the storyline. I mean, all this works out good. I mean, all this works out great. With the kind of not invading, I guess invading the Blackpool Combat Club or I'm sorry, Death Riders. Sorry, I
Death,
keep wanting to call
yeah, I
them the
know,
BCC,
right?
the Death
Death
Riders.
Riders.
It's working for what they're doing. I mean, luckily they have someone leading it who's very good at what they're doing, and Moxley, as I said now 3 times before, is in his bag at the moment, and everything he's doing is coming off great. So I mean, I don't. It's always a little interesting to see when you have someone like a John Moxley. So I said this before, getting protected by someone like Marina Shafir, but watching her kind of drag Moxley out and kind of make his way, it was interesting to see that. I mean, it's like, okay, I mean, all right. I mean, I'm here for it. We'll ultimately see what becomes of any of this for Marina Shafir. So far, it hasn't done anything for her singles women's wrestling career, but it's nice to see her in this role, I guess, and she's done well. So, I mean, I don't, we'll see if she ends up parlaying this into matches at some point and doing something other than just whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. Again, I rather be on my TV than in catering, so this is way better than being in catering for me, Shafir. Um, so in Moxley's promo and backstage, this is somewhat of a reset for AEW. He's like, I'm doing this role because we need a reset. It's just like stuff again crazy. We're gonna start from scratch, right? I wouldn't mind them doing that with Maria Shafir because no offense, the women's division needs it. It feels like everybody in the women's division is a mid Carter. Unfortunately, that's what it feels like. No one is super duper special. So if you want to put Marina in there to be like, all right, reset for the women's, I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
You got a couple women who are super special, but yeah, it's a short list.
But
Well, I
not
mean,
treated.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. I think they have a lot of women, honestly. I think it's a little bit longer list than maybe you might be thinking of women that could and are great. They just don't, for whatever reason, they don't book them like that now. I feel like when AEW first started, they booked the women better. I feel like Tony cared more and booked them better. It feels like it's fallen
Yeah.
off a little bit the last year or two. I don't know. I'm not sure what that's about, but
I don't either, but to my knowledge, when it started out, it was being booked by Dustin Rhodes and Kenny Omega.
oh yeah,
And hey,
If
that
those
might
two
be the
aren't
reason.
doing it anymore, then that would
right,
definitely explain it.
sure,
Which is
yeah.
weird because Dustin hasn't retired, so why would he stop doing it? Unless someone
Yeah,
told him to stop, which is
right. I mean,
stupid.
that might have been a Tony Khan decision. Maybe they tried to put somebody else in charge of doing it or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it was definitely better before.
uh, I would like to say that both Marina and her husband are doing quite well for themselves right now.
They are. I gotta see them together though, because it still feels weird. I'm like, why? Like, I need to see it as a couple.
Well, it,
I
it, it
still
might
see it.
be like a Becky Seth situation, so maybe it's best.
But like, here's the thing: Becky and Seth on television does not work. But I saw this. I saw this. Like they're doing Raw after Mania. They're gonna the post after Raw, right? And for some stupid reason, they wanted to do the last say the last dance, the lift, and so. Steph was like, "Come on, girl, come on," and they do it. And so I was like, I felt like in real life, I get it. I've seen enough to I get it. I haven't seen. I gotta see Roderick and Marina in real life. I'm like, she can beat your behind. Like, is she soft? She might be softer at home, but I need to see it.
Yeah.
They do seem like they'd be evenly matched against each other.
Yeah. All right. So this is what I was saying about before the Moxie promo. The Learning Tree promo. Yay. Whatever. They said I'm sorry. I'm like they said a bunch of stuff. And the meat of it is they're trying to promote this match between Jericho and Ishii. I love my Ishii. We're trying to recap the magic. They're gonna go against each other for Ari's championship. Y'all already know my thoughts about this. I don't care about Chris Jericho, even if it's against Ishii. Y'all have any thoughts?
No, I mean, not that haven't been voiced before. I mean,
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. So I came to New Japan a little late. Well, I mean, I came to a lot of this stuff late. I mean, I've been a wrestling fan for a long time before I ever listened to Wrestle Talk. And from Wrestle Talk, I was like, oh, there's a whole nother side of things that I didn't believe. Obviously, I know wrestling exists in other countries and all those things. And as a wrestling fan, I've heard of Anoki and other guys, but like, I had never paid any attention to any of that until I started to kind of go down the wrestling rabbit hole more. I was
Yeah.
familiar with Ring of Honor from the early 2000s, but beyond that, like, I hadn't really had a whole lot of. I watched a lot of WWE, and that was really basically it, other than WCW, and some TNA along the way here and there, but mostly very WWE heavy over the years. And so when that first came along, and I started to discover New Japan, I came for Goto. Hiroki Goto was the dude. I was like, oh, he's badass. And then I stayed for Ishii because he's that dude, and I love Ishii.
Yeah.
And so anytime I see him on the short story long, the anytime I see Ishii on my TV, I'm happy. At the same
Right.
time, I'm so tired of Chris Jericho. I'm tired of the Learning Tree. The Learning Tree only works if you're giving people opportunities. And I understand that both Brian Keys and Big Bill are getting some kind of a rub from being on the TV screen, if not at minimum, at least TV time with Chris Jericho. But he is still the one that you're booking to do everything in that faction. He gets 90% of the matches. He's the title holder. It's these guys should be. We talked about this last week. They should be the
Mm-hmm.
ones in the ring having the matches, and he should be the one outside being the loud, outspoken, obnoxious manager, the guy that's providing the guidance. He doesn't have to be the nueve. He doesn't have to be, a champion again and the main focus of another faction. I'm tired of it, and I'm done with it. So I was
I
never a Jericho fan to begin with. I liked him more at the beginning of AEW than I ever liked him before, and now I'm back to hating him again.
I
Actively hating him again.
yeah, like I feel that in waves too. Of like with Jericho. Of like sometimes I really enjoy what he's doing. It's like, oh, this is great work. I see why they keep him around. And then other times it's like, why is he still doing this?
Right. This is
But
definitely one of those why is he still doing it moments.
I definitely feel like the focus shouldn't be about him aside from promos. I think the in-ring focus should definitely be about Big Bill and trying to big build Big Bill into becoming the world champion. Because he could, but the way that they're going now, it doesn't feel like that would ever happen.
Right. Yeah.
But he has all the tools in his arsenal that he could be world champion if like he was built to do it. But like
Yeah.
it doesn't
No,
seem
I
to
mean,
be focused at all.
I think Big Bill has all the stuff that, they seem to be really high on Wardlow, and I think Big Bill has all the things that Wardlow lacks.
Oh
Big
yeah.
Bill actually has personality. Big Bill actually can talk. Big Bill can actually wrestle a little bit. So no, I mean, if you're talking about a hierarchy of big men, even though he doesn't get pushed like that, for me, Big Bill's right at the top of that list of when you're talking about really big men that can go. I mean, me personally, and you said Lance Archer is the perfect package. For me personally, I think Big Bill I like a little bit better than Lance Archer. I think he's got a little bit more upside. I like his personality a little bit better. They haven't booked him to be better than Lance Archer, but for me personally, I like Big Bill a little bit better.
Oh no. Most definitely. All right. So now we have our one and only women's match. Britt Baker DMD versus Penelope Ford. This was good. This
Yes,
was
it was
good in
good.
all. This was good in all context of. All right. So I know it's AEW, right? So women just sporadically beating each other. Matches just sporadically happening. Let me think. That's a better phrase. I know that happens, right? It's like, all right, sporadically, this person will go against this person. It was a little bit odd of, oh, we haven't seen Britt Baker back in a minute, and when she comes back, she's going to get Penelope Ford. I feel like that means a little bit of an incentive of why, But hey, that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a great showing for Penelope. Like I felt like they had a really good match. Penelope was able to show off what she can do. And like I'm a fan of Penelope, even though she's like the biggest opportunity she was ever given was that hardcore tag team match.
Which
Like
she killed. Yeah,
yeah,
she did a great job with that. Like I said, sometimes just putting people together is just a little bit weird to me. That's all I'm saying. But Britt Baker does win while she counteracts Penelope for submission with the claw. And there you have it. We talked about this earlier where it's like you have special people in your women's division, but no one is being treated special. And it's like, even though I don't like Britt Baker, this felt like a nothing. Like we're just gonna do like we're twiddling our thumbs. We really don't know what the freak to do with this division, so we're just gonna put women together. That's how this felt. That's how this match felt. Like this is why we're doing this match. And to your credit, Sammy, I love Penelope Ford. I remember that hardcore tag team match. She did a great job. I am kind of weary of what are we doing with her because she just came back and she got beat twice. Yes, it was against Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, but it's like you can't give her one win in between the two girls. We're just gonna let her get beat by the top two chicks. It really gives you the air of we don't know what we're doing with this division anymore. Like case in point, yes, Mariah May is on Collision. No one watches Collision like they do Dynamite. So why the freak was Mariah May not on this week's Dynamite? That's just me. That's just me. But yeah, like why?
for me, like the women she lost to are top 10 women in the company, debatably top 5 women in the company. Like
And I totally agree with you, but I think like at least give her a win before she loses back to back. Though I don't think she should have won, but like dang, back to back losses, and she just came more so. She just came back. Like, are we trying to hype her up or not? For people who don't remember the hardcore match, let's give her one win and then let her get beat by Britt Baker.
for me though, it's kind of like you come back And okay, week 1 we're going to have you lose to Roman Reigns. Week 2 we're going to have you lose to Cody Rhodes. It's like, oh, okay. At least I'm losing to who you consider your biggest stars.
I guess, but it does breathe. It breathes for me. It breathes more of a jobber if you do it like that. That's just me. That's just me. Especially when I just come back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's good to see both these women back. I mean, these guys were part of when I feel like the women's division was better in the beginning. Both these women were there and thriving. Um, I like Britt Baker. I don't have the issues with her that a lot of people have, and I don't, especially not in the ring. I think she's fine in the ring. I mean, I think she's comparable to many other women that are considered good. So I don't see the flaw there. I'm happy to have her back. I think she's got a strong personality, and she is, whether people like her or not, I do think she has the ability to carry a division. I think we saw that kind of in the beginning, whether you liked it or not, liked her or not. I mean, I think it was fine and the division thrived. So I'm happy to have her back. I like Penelope Ford. I'm happy to see her back, and I thought this was a solid match. I agree with Anika. I'm not sure I totally understand why, if you have one woman's match, first of all, one woman's match on Dynamite is a crime to begin with when you have the women that you have on your roster. And why it's these two necessarily put together it is kind of odd. At the same time, the match itself was really good. I mean, no complaints about the match. I thought it came off good. I liked the ending. I thought the ending looked really good. The way Britt transitioned out of the move into the
It did.
lockjaw.
It did.
Ultimately, I thought that came off looking cool. I'm not gonna lie. She's had a little bit of ring rust, I thought, since coming back, Britt, and I thought
Mm-hmm.
this was one of those matches where it looks like she's really kind of starting to get her feet back underneath her again and look kind of like the Britt Baker of old. And so, I'm very happy to see that. And so, yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, the fall from grace, in my opinion, of the women's division in general, just is sad at the moment. I mean, the one match on the show, and not that it's a bad match, but just one match on the show that doesn't really have anything to do with anything that's going on with any of the women's storylines that you're at least um, trying to tell, like Mercedes and Stat, or I guess Mariah and Mina. I mean, I don't even know, what is Mariah May even doing right now. I mean, who is
She
what is the
she's
storyline, and who's her opponent? Like, at this point, I don't even know who that is. So
she's
you
having
can
a
tell me.
feud. Yeah, she's
Go
having a
ahead.
feud with Anna Jay, but it's on Collision.
I mean, you can
It's
tell me who it is, but the fact that you have to tell me who's having a feud with our women's world champion is in an indictment of itself. To be fair,
yeah.
now I don't always pay 100% attention, but at the same time, as an AEW fan, I should be able to know right away. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to figure it out. And why is she on Collision, right? I mean, your world champion shouldn't be on Collision. I mean, to be fair, you've done a little bit, and I like Mariah May. It's a little unfair for Mariah May to have a title at the same time that Mercedes Moné has a title, because
Yeah.
Mercedes is Mercedes. And I think,
Yeah.
even though I would say that Mercedes' work in AEW hasn't been stellar, or whatever, at the same time she's still Mercedes, and people
Mm-hmm.
know her. And she's a known commodity and already have a feeling about her one way or the other, when Mariah May is really new to the States and to people still. So, so yeah, I mean, that's tough. I mean, the women's division is definitely fallen. I mean, they they're clearly not going to do anything to make Mariah's run better, so they've got to get the belt off of her at this point, unfortunately. Which is really sad, because I thought the way they did it at the time, I thought it
It was
worked really well.
awesome.
I thought it worked really well.
It was really
Putting the
good.
belt on her beating Tony Storm, I thought it worked really well. And I don't think it's anything to do with her. I mean, she's left me a little flat at times since having the title, but I don't necessarily think it's her. I just think it's been poor booking. I mean, I just think it's bad. And the women's division in general has been booked bad. So,
We did get a video package of a woman returning. I don't know if
It's coming up.
okay.
Patience. All right. So, uh, so the next promo, Mina. I'm sorry. This is I was mad at this. I was very mad at this, and rightfully so. So we have Mina backstage. She is finally back at AEW, and what is she doing? Going into a promo with Holly Cameron. And this collision, they're going to go tit for tit. They're shaking their titties. You made us wait months we're like, all right, the Mariah made the Mariah made ride. The reign is not going well because you wanted her to go against Mia Shirakawa. She's here, and the first thing y'all want her to do is do a tits off with Holly Cameron.
Commentary saved the segment for me.
I'm like, are y'all serious right now? And I get it, yes, they're both entertaining and fun. You do this after Marina. You do this after Mina loses. You don't do this right when she comes back. You do the freaking Mina's coming promo, and this is the first thing she does. Really?
Yeah, no, I agree with Danica.
But I would have felt the same way, but I busted my I busted a gut laughing at what Excalibur said after this. Now Renee knows how it feels to be me working next to you two all day.
That was hilarious.
I could not stop laughing.
That was definitely hilarious. But it's like, do better, because I'm like no, you don't had us waiting for me to come, and this is what y'all do. It's stupid. Moving on.
Moving on.
Do y'all have any more thoughts about this promo?
No, I don't. I mean, except that I want more from. If you're gonna make a big deal about, first of all, when she showed up in the first place 3 months ago, you didn't say anything about Mina Shirakawa. She just kind of showed up out of nowhere, and then she disappears. Now you make a big deal about her coming, and like you said, this is what you give her to do on her first thing here. It's like, if you're gonna hype somebody up, give them something important to do that's good. I mean, this is, in all intents and purposes, it's bad. I mean, and really, when you boil down to it, like, what is this? It's not doing anything for either of their characters in the scheme of things. And, I mean, if this is your next challenger or friend cohort for your women's champion, I mean, let's just say it's not starting off very auspicious. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. All right. So now one of the good matches of the night, Swerve versus wait, hold up. Let me get it right. Leo Rush. No, it's weird because I'm like, Lee. I know it's definitely not Lee. I think it's autocorrect dumb behind crackheads. Like, no, it's Swerve versus Leo Rush. Leo Rush called out Swerve on Collision. You can tell that they have a history together because this was very, very tasty. I loved all of this. Like, you can tell, like so if you haven't seen a Leo Rush match, he's more his attributes are he's very, very quick. He does misdirects in the ring. He was trying to do that with Swerve, and Swerve was like, no, little boy, no, little player, no, little brother. We know each other too well. And so those weren't so. Swerve was countering all of Leo Rush's things. It ended up with them doing a dual dive and flip out of the ring, landing on their feet. I'm like, this was good. I loved all of this. And then Leo was like, all right, I'm gonna scratch your eyes. I'm like, since she know all the moves, how about this move? I'm gonna cheat. Which is perfectly fine because this is about friendly competition. I'm trying to get better up on the card. So all in all, the match keeps continuing, for bout, foot for foot. And in the end, Swerve wins with a winged angel, right? Or a valley driver. What do you call it? But either way, Leo's on his shoulders. He plants between his legs. 1, 2, 3. Swerve wins as he should, right? He gets on the mic. He was like, "Look, I'm all tired of people trying to come for me, trying to build their name off my name. As you can see, Leo Rush trying to do it. It ain't happening. Hurting the kid. Y'all trying to build Joe name off my name. It ain't happening. Unfortunately, Swerve misnamed the town they were in. He said either it wasn't Bridge. He didn't say Bridgeport. I think he said Bridgeford. I'm not sure, but it wasn't Bridge. And so the crowd turned. No, okay, look here, Bridgeport. Nobody know y'all.
You already sucked to begin with, according to Anika anyhow.
You sucked. I didn't know where y'all were. no offense. Y'all could just like, I don't say take the L, but just chant "We are Bridgeport" one time and leave it alone. But no, you freaking hating pay behind little people had to ruin the segment. Just chant "This is Bridgeport." I'm like, no one cares. Like no one cares. It's not like this is not.
She said
This
no one
is not
cares.
WrestleMania 30 and Hulk gets the Silver Dome mixed up with the Superdome. It's not this. This is not that. Sorry, this is not that. To mess up the whole segment. Swerve tries to power through, but it wasn't happening. The Hurt Syndicate comes out. They brawl. Bobby Lashley has Swerve in a hurt lock, and they remain on top. Pause. And that was the end of the segment. What do y'all think about this match and the build up between Bobby Lashley and Swerve?
I mean, like I said before about Bobby Lashley, I mean, it is what it is. Him and Swerve should be fine. I mean, I'm not, it doesn't move the needle a whole lot for me just because I'm not the biggest Bobby Lashley fan. Leo Rush and Swerve that moves the needle for me. This match was fun, a lot of fun. Leo Rush moves the needle a lot for me. I'm a huge Leo Rush fan. I really wish he would get more of I don't know what his deal is contractually, but I wish he had more of a bigger role. It feels like he comes in here and there for spots and then he's gone again, and it's like it's nice to see him, but like, can we get him actually involved in something like an actual storyline or something? I would love to see him join the Hurt Syndicate. That would be awesome.
That's how I felt too until I saw his entrance, and I was like, man, you could not pay me to wear that fucking jacket. He don't have the style.
I think he pulls out better than Seth. I'll say that.
I will agree to that.
But yeah, no, I mean, I like Leo Rush and Swerve, and these guys have great chemistry, and I do like the big brothering a little bit of like Leo trying to do his moves, and Swerve's like, yeah, I know all that stuff does not happen here, and Swerve ultimately is the superstar here, right? So
yeah.
The win is the win. That being said, Leo Rush should be a superstar too. So, and I'm not sure where the disconnect is. I know he's, the problem child, and maybe that's a too true to life moniker. Maybe he's not difficult. Maybe he's just too outspoken. Maybe he's just too much of an advocate for himself, which I don't have an issue with at all. So, I mean, if you're going to try to give me bullshit that I don't want to do, then I'm not going to do it either. So I get that. But at the same time, me personally, selfishly, I just want to see him more on my TV screen. So.
I agree. I love Leo Rush. I don't like that he got beat twice in 2 weeks in a row. And so I'm like problem child didn't want to commit to y'all in the beginning. I don't care. It's Leo Rush. He's good in the ring. I want to see more of him in the ring. And like you said, if he joins the Hurt Syndicate, it makes sense because Bobby and hey, his laugh was stupid in WWE, but I thoroughly enjoyed Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley in WWE. I think it was a very entertaining time, to say the least. That's just me. All right, one moment here. Commercial break. All right, back to notes. All right, and so next, and this is Sammy. This is your segment. We have a promo backstage interview with Jamie Hayter, and they're like, "Hey, so you beat Penelope Ford. What are your future plans for AEW?" Basically, she was like, "Hey, look, I know I did some stuff in the past, and I'm gonna make up for them. But now, let's focus on the present right now. And the present gets cut off by a vignette from Julia Hart. Julia Hart is in regular form in bed, but she looks up, she looks down. Oh, shoot, someone shot you in the heart. Someone shot you in the heart. You're bleeding. Baby, you're bleeding. You going to the hospital? Not going to the hospital? No. You're going to answer the phone that's disconnected and says, where is Brody King telling you, time to come home. Time to come home. It's like, oh my God, I'm in a dream fog. Let me go to the bathroom. I'm going to wash my face and try to get the blood off, even though you can't. It's blood. And then the flashes of your dark side. Oh, there's your hat. I'm in the woods. The black heart's coming back. Now look. This was a good. I'm not gonna dig on the vignette. It was actually a very good vignette. For me, I don't need a vignette to be hyped for Julia. That's just me. I just like for me, like just let her appear out of nowhere with House of Black, and it's on site. That's just me. But the vignette was good. I did not like it interrupted Jamie Hayter. For I'm like I'm like again, no one is special. No woman is special to AEW right now. I wanted her to say those beautiful words. I'm going for the women's world championship. I'm going to face Mariah May. That's what I wanted to come out her mouth. But no, you thought right now was the time to press play on the Julia Hart promo. Now look, I am glad she's coming back, but I more so, like I said, I don't want this feud now. I don't want this feud now because someone has to lose, and I don't know. Both of them shouldn't. When you come back, you should win one match. That's just me. I don't care who you face, but you should win one match. So Julia Hart should win, but on the flip side of it is release the haterade. Release the haterade. You've been putting stall pause on this for too freaking long. Thank you. And it's like it's time. It's time to release the haterade. Y'all can't prolong this anymore. That's my issue. So that's just me. But what do y'all think?
I mean, I've been talking about how the women's division is down and we're getting women back. Britt Baker's back, Penelope Ford's back, Julia Hart's now coming back. I mean, it looks like some of the haters back, so it looks like some of the pieces are back to hopefully bring the division back to what it was. We'll see if the booking can get us there. Yeah, I mean, I like you said, I mean, interrupting Jamie Hayter is always disappointing, and it's a weird time to press play. And it is interesting because I don't want to see either of these women necessarily take a loss. I mean, I was never like red hot on Julia Hart to begin with. I mean, I thought she did solid work with House of Black, but
a lot of fans were, and I mean,
yeah.
I dig it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan, but I can get behind it.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I don't have an issue with any of this. I mean, other than the fact that, like you said, I mean, she should have some sort of like warm-up match. It feels like before she goes right in against Jamie Hayter, and one of them has to take a loss. But we'll end up seeing what ends up happening. So who knows?
No. Oh, and I forgot it because who cares? No offense. After the Britt Baker Penelope Ford match, Serena Deeb comes out. Evidently, we're gonna get Serena Deeb versus Britt Baker. When I say no one cares, I love Serena Deeb, but right now, no one's special. No one's special. So if y'all want to do this, then fine. But call me when y'all put some sparkle dust on one of your women. Okay, that's just me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Sorry. Okay. Next up. Oh yeah. So after that, we have our main event, which is at Full Gear we're going to have a fatal 4-way for the tag team championships. Pretty good. And this was a qualifying match. It's FTR versus House of Black with Private Party on commentary, or just looking out to see who's going to be their next competitor. Cool. This was great. I love, you can't, again, some people, you just can't go wrong. House of Black versus FTR. Yes, freaking please. I love the little exchange. We start off with Malachi and Dax, and they're going bow for bow. Dax try to swing, but Malachi ducks and sits down cross-legged. I'm like, why don't y'all do better? I won't go into why House of Black isn't at a better position, but whatever. But and then I said no. But then great segment. Then on the outside of the ring, Dax catches Malachi, and him and Cash are sitting cross-legged and just being stupid. This was so good. And then they're trying to attack Malachi, double team. he gives Brody King the hot tag, and Brody King just be Brody Kinging, and I love all of it. It's like he's clotheslining. He's just a big brute, and that's sometimes just give me a big brute. So he's just barking, whoo, whoo, whoo. He's getting into it. It's a whole nother freaking gear that I'm into. And then like, all right, so now all four people are in the ring. We're going bout for bout, and so Brody King gives one of them a power bomb. Malachi does a moonsault off the top of the ring buckle to try to counteract it, but they all get kicked out. It was craziness. I loved it. All in all, House of Black wins with Brody King just straight up choking out Dax Harwood. House of Black will be in the Final Four for the Tag Team Championships at Full Gear. Now listen, I love Private Party. I love they have the belts. I'm sorry, as of right now, there's no world where House of Black is in the match. And I don't want them to win. Every time they go for it, I'm like, yep, give them the belts. They should win. That is just me. I want this. I want this so badly. But yeah, your thoughts on the match?
I mean, I enjoyed the match a lot, and I'm happy to see that House of Black gets the win. Not because I like them more than FTR, but just because we've been here and done that with FTR.
Yeah.
And House of Black hasn't really been booked like that too much. So I'm happy to see them kind of get the push and go over here. And yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening and who the other competitors are. But at this point, I mean, if we're looking at Private Party versus House of Black, I'd rather see House of Black win and be champions too. So.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is that with House of Black, yeah, they were the trios champs, but like, I feel like they weren't the trios champs for all that long of a time. Like,
no, and it didn't feel like they did a whole lot to give them a great run either.
No, and unfortunately, Collision did have his time when CM Punk was on there, but after he left, the ratings went down significantly. So all their great moments were on Collision. So unless you were a Collision fan, half of AEW audience, maybe most of them, probably did not see them and do their best stuff as well.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah. But so
they're all great. Like when we did our fantasy draft for AEW, like all of them were first round picks.
Mm-hmm. No, I still want. It's so crazy. They've been here for how long? I still want more. I still want them all to get singles titles. I still want to be in great feuds. I like.
Yeah,
truly unleash them.
Yeah, it feels like they've been around for a while, but yeah, like they haven't really been able to, like they just haven't been used as much as they should be, or properly, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Malachi is the best promo of the group, and he might be the worst wrestler of the group, and he's still a great wrestler.
Yeah.
Right. But like, yeah, so good that they won. I'm very happy for them. This is like, don't know how this fatal 4-way of the tag team championship is going to go, but hey, as of right now, it looks pretty darn tasty and entertaining. Agreed. But that was the end of AEW Dynamite from last Wednesday. Grades, everyone?
I thought it was a solid show. The pacing in the middle of it was kind of interesting with some of the just moving from one segment right into the other. And I understand when you have people that are involved in multiple feuds, kind of in multiple segments, or doing multiple things on a show, that seems kind of natural. Not necessarily have a problem with it. It was just interesting. I thought the main event...
There were a couple problems.
There were a couple problems. I thought the main event was solid. I'm happy to see, House of Black go over. It's a conversation for another day just because we've been talking for a long time. But, when FTR showed up in AEW and they had this kind of moniker of, oh, we're one of the best in the world, I thought to myself, are they? And just because I wasn't overly familiar with them outside of WWE, and I thought they had their time in WWE, but there was nothing that, for me, I thought set them really apart.
Was there anything to be familiar with outside of WWE?
That I don't know. So maybe there wasn't. In which case, So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, it kind of is a weird moniker. And then they had, what I would call some phenomenal. I mean, the best of seven series with the Bucks is probably one of the best of seven series ever done in wrestling. I don't think there's anything anyone can really complain about. I mean, that's perfection. At the same time, they've been kind of up and down in their AEW time, and so now losing here, I just wonder like what kind of an impact it has on FTR, where you see them, where their space actually is. Are they one of the greatest tag teams of all time? Do they really earn that per se? I don't know. I mean, I like FTR often, and at the same time, like I don't know, and then taking a loss here and not making it into this, that means they're not they haven't been booked great in a while, and that's I know that that's something they complained about at one point too. So I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting. What do you guys think, just in general, about?
I
I mean,
mean, they've been given so many opportunities. I'm not gonna like complain about them not getting this opportunity and letting another team get it over,
Yeah.
especially when the team is House of Black,
sure.
who I feel like is criminally not getting enough opportunities.
100%. And I wasn't necessarily saying like that I thought that FTR should have gone over here. In fact, I'm glad House of Black did, just because I feel like we've been there, done that with FTR. I just it feels like that moniker of being one of the best tag teams in the world was a little shaky when they gave it to him in the beginning, and I'm not sure, other than like the feud with the Bucks and a couple other outlier matches that have been really good. Like,
Oh,
are
like
they have they been able
Blade
to
Juice.
uphold that? Are they still you still consider them as one of the best tag teams in the world? You think
Yeah,
they've been able
It
to?
I do. Like
Yeah,
their feud with Blade Juice though, that was like one of the biggest for me. Also, their feud with the Guns,
yeah,
like that was a very solid feud
like,
too.
and again, even though we're like, hey, we don't you don't people don't watch Collision. Collision is a good show. Collision is
sure.
still a good show. I would say if you're home at Saturday night, please watch it and you're a wrestling fan. And like them with the Outrunners is pretty darn entertaining. I do think FTR needs a refresh. And easiest thing is go against one of the top babyface teams on AEW.
Well,
Yeah,
I think the best thing for them would probably be like joining a new faction because I felt like some of their best work happened when they were in factions too. Like when they were with the Pinnacle, like that was special. That was great, and I really enjoyed it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I actually did love them with Daniel Garcia as well. So
Mhm.
maybe add a third person too. That could be an option as well.
Oh my God, this week we got to grade this show still. Ah, jeez
Yeah,
Louise, man. I mean, when you have Leo Rush and Swerve wrestling, I mean, automatically my heart is happy, and I think that the wrestling, and then you have FTR and House of Black. I think for me, the wrestling is where my heart is. So I always am gonna tend to lead to where the better wrestling is. So for me, I feel like the show was a little bit better than. Man, NXT was really exciting this week, though. I'm so
it's
torn. Like,
crazy.
it feels
It's
like this should be on the.
crazy.
It feels like it should be a B minus two. It feels like it should all be B minuses. It feels to me like this is a tie this week. I mean, Raw is down overall. Raw has not been good for me in several weeks, a couple months. It's been down.
You
Even
still
though it's
gave it a
gone.
B minus, the same as NXT
I
for
know, and NXT was so fun and exciting, but yet I gave it the same grade. And this was fun and exciting too, but yet it didn't feel like it was head and shoulders better above than two shows. Fuck, I don't know,
Right.
dude. This is tough. Like, I don't know. What are you guys' grades? Let me hear what your guys' grades are, and then I'll.
So I'm not going to say
Like,
great. And emotionally, nothing felt like honestly. I can differentiate emotion from grades. They're both on the same level. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm so happy I watched this show over this show. That was not this week. So I feel your pain. And so emotionally, they're on par for me. Um, I Even though it's a little thing, and it shouldn't be that little, I can't overlook or ignore the AEW division versus the NXT division, and even the Raw division of more women on your card. Good storyline, bad storylines, they're wrestling more on your card than they are on AEW's card. So we
yeah,
have to point that out.
yes.
Um,
And NXT was the only show that had women open and close.
Yeah.
The defense I can give to AEW is at least they had plenty of backstage segments and promo packages with women. Like there wasn't a lot of women wrestling, but there was a lot
Right.
of women on screen.
Raw just ignored the women basically this week. So
Yes.
No, no, no. I'm not going to get that freaking mean promo. The freaking point for that. I will not do that. No,
You don't?
no. Tit for tits. No,
tit
I'm
for
not giving them
tit.
points for that.
There's a lot
No,
more than that, though.
it was
Tit
that,
for tits.
and then the Mercedes and Statlander. It, I know Statlander is strong, but taking two chicks
Andy,
out of the wall, and then the Julia promo. Yeah,
I mean,
it
at
was
least
cool, but you interrupted Hater.
I mean, again, I mean, it might not be ideal for what you want, but at least it's more time. I mean, when you're talking about actual time and television time and booking, carrying apparently at least being part of your booking philosophy, AEW did better this week than Raw as far as the women go. Whether it's whether you liked it all or not, they definitely had more time in AEW than they did in Raw. Raw, they had that basically one segment, and that was it.
Well, no, they were the main event. Okay, let's be very clear. They were the main event of Raw. Then they had
Yes.
Pure Freedom Collective versus
That's true.
which was
Damage
Dookie.
Control.
That's true. That's true.
They had 2 matches. AEW had 1 match and a lot of promos.
The promos did not match up to 10 minutes. Let's since we're gonna do this, 2 matches that are over 20 minutes, 1 match on AEW that was less than 10 minutes, and a bunch of promos that did not add 10 minutes. If we're going minute for minute.
Oh man, I don't know. I can't pick this week.
Emotionally, it's a 3-way tie for me. Emotionally, it's a 3-way tie.
It's funny. Like I, when I watched all 3 shows, I enjoyed NXT the most of the 3. But I think it's because I expect the least.
Yeah.
I mean, so you have Raw, which even though Dynamite or even though SmackDown tends to be better, Raw is your flagship show. This is your premier show, and Dynamite is your premier show. I feel like the fact that NXT is even in the conversation as a developmental show, like, and I feel more excited about it, like, is crazy. I expect so much less from them and get more than I expect, and expect more from the other shows and get less. That it's this weird dynamic. I don't know. I'm still gonna, because of the wrestling. I can't get past Swerve. The wrestling is still better on AEW, even though NXT, I think, had a little more excitement for me this week. The wrestling, and that's where I always fall, was better. Anytime you have Swerve and Leo Rush versus each other, anytime you get FTR versus House of Black, I'm here for it. There were other matches.
Card, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the whole card was solid.
Any of the wrestling.
So, I mean, I'm going to give AEW a B. I'm going to give it a grade slightly above Raw and Dynamite and give it my winner this week. And for me, it was the winner, I guess. It'd be.
I had 2 problems with AEW, but I'm able to let the one slide because commentary, like Excalibur, cracked me up, and it gave me one of the biggest laughs I had in wrestling in the longest time I can remember. So I'm going to let that slide, but I still have to knock him a bit for Jericho. So I can't give him an A like I would want to give him. I have to give him a B+.
So I think I figured out why there's no for me. No, a different
differential.
There we go. Thank you. Differential. There's no standout team because no one had a pow segment. You know what I'm saying? Like all the main events were standard, but it's like these aren't your top stars in your main event. Unfortunately, like for all 3 shows, these weren't your top stars in the main event.
That's
so.
I mean, I feel like FTR is pretty well considered one of the top stars for the tag team division, though.
But not for a main event though.
Really?
I mean, I think they have in the past, but I think they've been cooled down a lot. So maybe not
recently,
right now today.
Okay. But they've
But
definitely main evented before.
oh, no doubt, and I mean, against the Bucks and against some other teams, I mean, they definitely have deserved to be in that spot. But it feels like they've been cooled down a lot, and they haven't been on TV all that much. And
Like in the words of Janet Jackson, "What have you done for me lately?" And so, so yeah, they definitely cool FTR down. But that's what we're saying. We were saying a couple of seconds ago. They need a refresh. They need some kind of pop up energy to make FTR that intimidating team again. Like, oh snap, we're going to face FTR. We got to be, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, with all that said, because my favorite women were in the Raw main event. Like you give me Nia Jax, Bianca, and Jade.
and
Even
Naomi.
though Nia Jax was not in, like she wasn't in the match, but she was out there. I can't be mad.
The problem is
But
I felt like that was the only good match on the entire card.
I wouldn't say that.
I'll say it. I felt like that was the only
Oh,
good match on the entire card.
so you didn't like Pete Dunne versus Kofi?
Not really.
Oh, that's on you. That's on you, boo boo. But either
I
way,
felt like the storytelling with the match was good.
it's like you
That
can't
counts for anything.
look, Sammy. I'm a choose AEW. But what we're not gonna do is say egregious stuff like, "Oh, that was the best match on the card." Let's come on now, break it down a little bit. Break it down a little bit
The main event was the best match on the card. I'm sorry. It was.
in your mind, but yes, but yeah, AEW was.
All right.
This week did my brain hurt. So if anyone of any of the three are listening to this thing, let's I know, yeah, screw it. Yeah, I was gonna give everyone an out. Oh, it's holiday seasons. Thanksgiving didn't come yet. Thanksgiving ain't here yet. So give me a PAL main event. Give me a PAL segment. Punch this thing up.
All right. That brings us to the end of the show. We all did pick AEW Dynamite again. So AEW Dynamite is your winner this week by a small margin. AEW Dynamite takes the winner's circle again this week. And do a little house cleaning real quick. Tune in tomorrow. I believe it will be 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern for Enter the Square Circle. It should be the semifinals and finals of the TAP or SNAP tournament. So make sure and check that out tomorrow. Every Tuesday we are live for the Cookout, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, where we all come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling. This last week, we just finished episode 6 of the Mr. McMahon Netflix special. I think on Tuesday, we're going to try to do Lucha Underground episode 1 watch along. We're still trying to figure out logistically how to make it all work out, so it may be the week after, but if we can get it to work, I hope next week. So make sure and tune in for that, and tune into the Cookout just in general. You can also catch the Cookout, the audio version of the Cookout on these podcast locations if you just want to listen as opposed to sit and actually watch. Friday nights, we're here for a Friday night fights. We were here last night. Anika and Sammy Joe are here every Friday watching SmackDown and Rampage starting at 5 p.m. Pacific. 8 p.m. Eastern, running through the end of Rampage. Last night we were here for the underwhelming Tyson-Paul fight. The women beforehand, though, Sariano versus Taylor, were very good. Go back and watch that if you want to watch anything. Don't go out of your way to watch Tyson versus Paul. We've all learned a lesson now. I don't need to see another Mike Tyson fight at this point. So, but tune in every Friday for Friday Night Fights, where they watch SmackDown and Rampage live and give you their live opinions and reactions in real time. Then Saturday mornings, as you're here with us right now, for the Winner's Circle, where myself and Nika and Sammy Joe come together to review Raw, NXT, and Dynamite and pick our favorite show of the week and declare a winner for the Winner's Circle. Then Saturday night, and I believe I just got the word from CM that it looks like we will be here tonight for our Saturday night is All Right Collision watch along. She says she is on board, and I believe I am. So you should be able to catch me and CM tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern at the start of Collision, watching Collision in real time, giving you our opinions and reactions to the show. I think that covers everything. I'll put the little QR code up so you can scan the horsey. And if you scan that horsey will take you to Linktree, and from Linktree you can get to all of our social medias from one easy location. Check us out. We're everywhere. We want to interact with you everywhere we are. We love to hear from you guys. So, yeah. So, unless anyone else has anything else to say, we'll wrap up this 13th episode of the Winter Circle and get up out of here.
Nope. Be good.
Peace.
Bye.